This guy almost got
so senatorial primaries in the Democratic Party stepped out, encouraged him to step out. The Democratic Party encouraged him to step out. He did not. He ended up becoming the nominee, and then he entered.
Interest peak.
Recording started. Welcome to the No Society Society. I am your host, Alistair and Guest. I'm joined once again by my co-host, Andrew Veal.
Always a pleasure to be here.
And today we have a special guest hailing from the PCM podcast. Are you going by homosexual in this one, or by no two steps from disaster?
This is my Discord name, but I feel like I'm going to rebrand from Homie the Grilltator, since I have taken full control of the podcast right now.
Alright.
So
I guess you're homie.
I have become the sole leader of the PCM podcast. Maybe PCP podcast. The name is also bound to change, maybe.
Well, I mean, I was basically a Grilltator for a wee while. Wasn't fun. I don't think I'd go back to it. To being Grilltator, at least. I don't know about where I stand on the show currently. But yeah, and today we will be talking about the Sopranos, because me and Homie have been wanting to talk about that for a while, and I have another topic which I guess I will address first. Now, Andrew and Homie, I have a question for you. Are either of you familiar with the artist formerly known as Prince?
Of course.
Yes.
That is who I would quite like to talk about here, because I quite like a lot of his music, and he has said some things here and there that I think are particularly interesting, and it will lead into another thing I would like to talk about. So, would we like to start with The Sopranos or Prince?
I mean, we can go either one on that. You're flip a coin. Flip a coin.
All right.
Maybe you know.
Do
you have a coin?
I have a D20 next to me. If it's
a D20 will work.
All right.
If it's 10 or up, I guess Prince. If it's more than 10, we'll go Sopranos.
All right.
And that's a 2. So I guess Prince.
All right. So I guess I will open my discussion about the point I'd like to make about Prince. So, we all know who he is. To anyone who doesn't know, I guess we would call the genre of music pop, I guess. And he made a lot of music. You'd probably say he's most popular in the 80s. Probably most famous for his album Purple Rain. I really like him. I think he's a lot of his music.
That's probably the only music I've listened from him.
I really like that album, but he has some really good stuff besides that. I think I have that album on CD actually. It's really good. But he has said he's made comments over the years that are a little. He's made some very accurate predictions, shall I say. So the first one I would like to bring up is he released a song called New World, which quite heavily takes inspiration from Huxley and this book Brave New World. He flat out just name drops Brave New World in the song. I'm going to pull up the lyrics for it. I'm going to mute my Spotify so when I pull up the lyrics I don't get copyright struck for playing 2 seconds of a Prince song. I play one second.
They're going to steal the $0 this
you know they will though. They'll take every penny they can. I can't seem to find the song in my playlist. There it is. Yes. Okay. So he's some of the things he said were fairly accurate, and at times you could even say were criticizing himself, because Prince was a fairly flamboyant guy, shall we say. So one of the first things that he says that are a bit more accurate these days is he has the line in the song, "When the lines blur every boy and girl, how we gonna make it in this brave new world?" Which, the blurring of boys and girls, you could say the estrogen in the water, the transgender movement. There are multiple ways you can interpret that where he is fairly accurate. When did the song come out? Well, I want to just check that first. 1996. So he was a wee bit ahead on some stuff like that. But where is it? There's one part.
It could have been just a random lyric.
It could have been, but there's one part specifically I would like to mention. Here it is. There's a section of the song where he says, "Did you hear about the new pill? It feels like sex. Guaranteed to thrill with no ill side effects. A pill that'll stop the wrinkles, a pill that'll stop the pain, a pill that'll stop a baby, never seek political gain. What's it all for when you can alter biology?" So, first things first, heightened taking of the heightened amount of drugs that are being taken, that's not a hard prediction to make. I'll give him the point, but still not hard. The part that I specifically thought was interesting was him talking about altering biology, because something that scientists are working on is the altering of fetuses in the womb and their genetic. That is something that is at least focused on, is at least working on enough that it was brought up when I was being taught biology in school. Like, it's something that does appear to be on the horizon, maybe not in this decade, but maybe future ones. And that is something I would like to talk about, because it does raise it's a human rights disaster waiting to happen. Because the morality around altered biology can immediately become really questionable, because
that sounds like eugenics.
Almost, yeah. Well, the question then becomes, well, he's talking about making babies never seek political gain due to biological altering. That could become a possibility. How did they do that? And when, say, massive companies such as Amazon or Apple get a hold of this technology, the idea that they may pay parents to alter their children to be more open to working for Apple and Amazon and never, seek to destroy these companies or anything, becomes a very clear possibility. And that then raises the human rights question of, well, you've got stuff like abortion activists who claim that a fetus isn't a human, and where does that and where do we go with the idea of altering children for corporate gain? Because they're not babies according to these people's logic, and I'm not making this as a pro or anti-abortion point. I'm simply just raising the question of, what the fuck do we do about this with human rights? And I know that's a big question, because we're not, we're not there yet. But when we get there to the point where you can do this, it raises questions really quickly. I mean, then you also do have the eugenics points Homie brought up. Like, I mean, you have the issue of parents aborting their children who have Down syndrome. Imagine then you can just take any kid with Down syndrome and just change them in the womb. I mean, that's worrying. Yes and no, I guess, but...
To be fair, that would be the best possible scenario for technology like that.
But it's not going to be used that way, and it won't.
If you transfer, like, somebody who's going to be born autistic from suffering and make them have a... Maybe normal brain.
Maybe autistic... Okay, thank you.
Because most Down syndrome people who cannot live by themselves.
You said autistic, you asshole.
Yeah, sorry, I meant Down syndrome.
But the technology won't be used that way, though, and we all know it won't.
Even if it is just
the best possible scenario.
Well, yeah, even if it is just used to fix people, like, did you guys ever watch the old movie Gattaca?
I know of it.
No.
Okay, it's a movie about, like, after society figures out how to genetically engineer, like, children to be better, so they're, like, smart and don't have any physical disabilities, and, like, it's all good. And so, like, all the children that are born that aren't genetically edited become an underclass, because, like, why the hell would you want somebody who isn't optimized to be smart and healthy and long-lived and not get cancer? Like, you would just pick the good people to work for your company. And so it's about a guy who like trades identities with another guy who has this, even though the main character doesn't. Anyway, the point is there are downsides even to the best case scenarios of genetic editing of children, especially since it's probably going to be something that's heavily balanced along wealth lines. So,
it will be, yeah. It'll just
so
create
I understand.
It'll just create an even bigger gap between the rich and poor, and higher class and lower class. And I mean, the way Prince specifically, how he portrays it in the song is concerning, to say the least. The idea that you could alter a baby to never seek political gain is, I mean, just the whole concept as a whole is deeply concerning. And like, there are other things I want to say about Prince, but like, I was using him as a way to get into this because the idea of genetic altering is a point that when it happens, I don't know when it's going to happen, but it will. At the current rate we're going, it's going to happen eventually. Someone's going to figure it out, and it's going to become an option. And then, but like I said, it was mentioned to me in primary school. Like, it was taught to me in school. They portrayed it as a good thing in school, and I don't think there's any way it happens where it's good. No matter what, I think it's going to be an issue. It's like one of those forms of technology where it's like, maybe it's best we don't invent this. But scientists got a scientist, and they gotta jerk themselves off by getting inventions made. So now we've got genetic altering, but it's just, I don't know what I'm getting at. All I'm saying is that I think it's something that's deeply concerning that it could happen.
And that's totally understandable.
I just think, like,
though,
even if you don't bring up the moral issues or just the societal issues that could come from it, even then it's like it almost just strips people of their humanity, like they're a product that's made at this point. Like, food's changed to have all these things in it. Is that just what humans are going to be? And no, go ahead. I'm just rambling.
I mean, it does bring up like a whole lot of questions as you mentioned. Though, I mean, I think that there's a whole bunch of technologies, right? Like, coming up that it's sort of like, if we as a society were more capable of like giving decision-making power to people who aren't greedy sociopaths who view every single person that doesn't have $1 billion in their pocket as a statistic. There's a whole bunch of technology that's going to be really bad if it's used in a way that isn't good. Like,
well, it's something I always say about when it comes to policies going through a parliament or government is that if you're passing something, the way you should look at it is, okay, well, if the party who directly opposes us gets in power and they can then use this policy we've passed, how could they use that against us? So, for example, you take the trans rights lobby, for example, and some of these people want to pass through bills that force you to use pronouns or speak a certain way. Imagine then if the anti-trans right lobby, the people who are against transgenderism, then get in power after these laws have been passed. How could that be used against them? And the answer is badly. So you shouldn't pass that bill, because the possibility of someone else getting power with it should automatically make you go, no, I'm not doing that. And that's how I look at a lot of these technologies as well, is, alright, genetic altering, it can maybe benefit us in some specific societies, but if, say, a hyper-capitalist society gets a hold of it, or a tyrannical government uses it, is it bad for us? Absolutely. So we shouldn't have it. It's almost like it's one of these things where it's like, there's a quote, I can't remember which book it's from, but there was a quote about MK Ultra where he says that we were blessed with failure, and that's what I'm hoping happens with a lot of these upcoming technologies, that we are blessed with failure. We don't get it. Because
But do you mind if I ask you guys one? Because this is one that actually I had a friend that got really upset with me about this.
Go ahead, yeah.
Is the idea of we're coming up on the possibility of like biological immortality, right?
Oh God.
And I was like, yeah, if we don't have a massive change to the way our society works before that gets discovered, that would be like
Disastrous.
really bad. And when I say that, I mean like I'm not saying like 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 I would want to be biologically immortal, but then everybody else should die or anything like that. Like no, I'd be fine with dying if it means not living in a society where all of the people who have power just stop dying and there is no way to get promoted or to move up in society that isn't like
Yeah, it would just create stagnation immediately. Yeah.
yeah, cause stagnation, unemployment.
With biological mortality, which is
What did you say?
there is a big problem with biological immortality, which is why I believe that it is actually impossible to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the fact that our brains have a limited capacity. At some point, everybody's going to get Alzheimer's. Like Alzheimer's is our natural barrier, just your brain decaying slowly, or not having enough space to store memories. I feel like it's a way more massive barrier than like eliminating diseases, cancer, or just becoming a human-robot hybrid.
We've kind of discussed something similar to this on the show before, because me and Andrew both expressed that we are fans of Don Hertzfeldt, who a lot of his work does deal into the fact of living forever and the fact that you will basically lose who you are eventually if you do become immortal. Fuck, my notifications are still on. One sec. But yeah, no, it's... But let's not even get into the issue of, well, it's impossible. But also, yeah, it would create stagnation because, alright, we only have so much area on this planet. We are already... Well, people are claiming we're already run out. We might not be, we might be. I don't know. I'm not an expert on the subject, so I will not comment on that, but like, quite a lot. But your average person, they have the biological function to have children, and if you can't... If there is only so much room on the planet, eventually we're going to have to go, okay, we can't have any more people on this planet if we're all immortal. So that creates the issue of people not being... Their basic biological function of survival and reproduce. Both of those are gone because survival. We're immortal.
Well, I guess then we colonize the moon and Mars at that point.
But even then, you colonize Mars, you colonize how many planets to then go to then be able to have children. But what happens when you still don't have the survival and survive and reproduce? Either way, part of your biological functions are not there. And even to be fair, in our current society, at the same time, the survival part is kind of just gone because you can survive very fucking easily at this point. And you can disagree with me all you want, but it's true, you can. So at that point, we've already fucked that pretty badly, and a lot of people are just not happy and are just unsatisfied with their life because we fucked that. So imagine if we fuck it even harder, it's gonna go even worse. So, and as well, you say biological immortality, but that's not talking about spiritual immortality. And the fact of the matter is, we are already spiritually immortal. And Homie can disagree with me, atheist scum, but at the same time, no matter what, like...
I am not an atheist.
I thought you were.
No. I do consider myself as an agnostic with some Christian values, let's say. It's that meme that everybody's a Christian when a tiger pops out of the bush. That's the type of person I am.
We're officially a diagnostic podcast. But no, like, yeah, the idea. I think there's, I've said to Hopi many times, death isn't the end, it's just another part of the journey, and all. Like, and if you end that journey because, we're immortal now, fuck that, I don't want to stay here forever. There's further places to go, things to experience, and if you're stuck in this plane of existence, fuck that. No, thank you. The idea of being immortal sounds absolutely dreadful. I won't lie. Especially because, like, in the idea you're presenting of biological immortality, are we saying that we're going to be like, if we all become immortal now, do we still age, or am I going to be in my current body forever?
That's a good question. I mean,
because I don't want to look like the fucking emperor of mankind up on my golden throne, being a rotting corpse and barely alive. Fuck that.
I mean, my understanding of when they talk about the biological immortalities does involve, like, slowing down the effects of aging, though you'd probably still have some. Like, I don't know, maybe you end up looking like the Alec Guinness in Star Wars as Obi-Wan or something. Like, fuck if I know. But, yeah.
What came to my mind first.
I have to give you.
When you said that, whether you get stuck at that age or not, I thought of the Skyrim Thieves Guild, that is whatever, where there's a child that was bitten by a vampire as a child, so she has spent like 200 years in a child body, just seethes about how much it fucking sucks.
Yeah,
that's what I think about.
I swear there was like a character who was like that in What We Do in the Shadows or something like that.
I think there's a character like that in like every vampire movie.
Yeah. I do have to give you some serious credit, Delander, because you this whole idea still somehow stayed on topic of the Prince song, because he said, a pill that will stop the wrinkles, a pill that will stop the pain. You stayed on topic about the potential of stopping aging. So completely unintentionally, you still stayed on topic of Prince through this whole experiment. So,
oh, thank God! Thank God!
We stayed on topic for once, completely unintentionally.
But yeah, I mean, it's a big question. Yeah.
I'm kind of glad I'm gonna die someday, because I don't have to see some of the shit that's gonna be coming. Some of the shit down the pipeline, like, there's stuff I'm glad I'm not gonna see.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things that for me as well, right? Like, yeah, stuff is gonna get worse until something huge changes in society to make it not get worse, and I'm not really seeing where that's gonna be, other than some kind of change in management. But
well, I mean, the Frenchies did just burn down. They didn't burn down, but they took over up the BlackRock headquarters. So maybe France is the solution.
I mean, well, this is the thing, right? They took over the BlackRock headquarters, so obviously, like, you know, they're showing, like, that there's the will. But, I mean, here's a question. Like, what happens if you take over the BlackRock headquarters? It's not like society changes, right?
True.
So, and that's the pernicious thing about all this, right? Is that it's really hard to change systematic issues without systematic responses.
Yeah, and I can say at least that, like, my country of Scotland may get better. So we have a whole scheme right here. We have a youth parliament here. I don't even know what it does, but most of the time it's teachers or people in parliament. They can choose these kids who are complete fucking ass kissers, and they can basically just groom them to take their place, because, like, alright, there's a mic stopped working, disconnected, and rejoined. Alright, homie. But like there's a girl in my year in school. I'm not going to name drop, to be clear. I'm not name dropping this person, but like, she's part of the youth parliament. Wanker. It's the only word I've got for her. Wanker. she quite literally was just handed everything, and then it's trying to go like, I'm for the working class, and it's like, no, you're not. Quite literally, anytime this girl talks to me or my mates, you can just feel the disgust. Like she looks down at people, and these are the people that are going to be going into the Scottish Parliament. Does this sound like a country that's going to get better?
This reminds me of how Bill Joel Armstrong, after writing American Idiot, when talked to some rednecks and went ahead at an interview and started talking about how disgusting like the working class is, which is who he sings about in that song, essentially.
Yeah.
In that album.
Yeah, that's Green Day for you. What were you gonna say, Lander, before Homie interrupted us by talking about a shit band? You know, they're mid.
Oh no, I guess I was yeah, they're mid. I'll agree with that. I was just going to possibly start to comment about how like the issue with like the left's like totally spitting on, sort of right wing working class people is probably like the biggest. Oh, anyway, it's I think as long as that happens, it's going to be hard
cannibalize
to
themselves.
Well, I'm not really saying cannibalization, but like to the degree that economic leftists have any conception of like labor needs to rise up and, save themselves from the forces of greedy capital, like screwing them over. You sort of got to get buy-in from like the right-wing people too. Like the working class right-wing people. That's it's weird to see somebody. Yeah.
It's not even
like
I like to be clear. It's not like she looks down upon us because not even all of us are right wing. I'd say I'm lib center. I have mates who are lib left. I have some who are very off right, but like same friend group and all that. And it's like I don't think it's a political thing. I think it's just like, like some of us are like autistic and stuff. Like we're not retarded, but like we're a little bit weird. But like I can still get on with most people. Most of the boys in my year, the girls fucking hate me. But there's just this disgust that you can just feel from her. I've been talking to so many people, and so many people in my year don't like her for that reason. But like that's going to be our parliament. That's That's the future of our parliament. Is people who have been handed something because they can kiss ass the best. That's not a thing that's going to get better. And to be blunt, I don't think
that's what politics has always been, though.
Exactly, and that's
like the king's right hand. He was always the guy that would listen to the king, suck his dick, whatever he said.
That's my point, though, is that we're not going to get better through democracy. And I know we have to tell everyone how much we love democracy 24/7, but it's not getting better this time. Drastic measures have to be taken for drastic issues, and we're at drastic issues.
Though, does it make me naive that I actually still have a little bit of a democracy stan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know what system you put in place to replace it, but it's failed. The democracy experiment has failed. I'm not saying any of the other systems are good, but some of them have also, loads of them have failed, but I think we're yet to find one that works. Because, democracy has failed. If we're at this point, and I think as a whole, the entire world right now is just stared into the abyss, and there's a quote about it all that I think of, that I saw in a comedy YouTube video of all things, but I think it resonates pretty well. I might have said this before, I don't know. but the quote was that the old world is dying, and the new world struggles to be born. Now is the time of monsters. And I think that's really accurate to where we're at now. We are staring at the abyss, and we have to decide what the fuck we do now, because we are fucked. And I guess you get the benefit of dying for a year, Xander. You know, you're an old man, so you get out of this before me and Homie's young ass.
Before the real shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
Well, at least we will be part of history, which is something that
Sabaton could write
most
songs
people
about
feared.
us. Sabaton
How
could write
people were
songs.
like, yeah, how people were like, oh, we're just living in the most boring era. Nothing actually happens here. Our life is meaningless.
They're not
And
wrong.
right now, you actually see that no, we might be entering World War III. There is just so much stuff that is happening and is continuing and will continue to happen the following
No.
5 to 10 years.
Where we're at now, nothing is happening. Those people are right. However, think of it as like a wrestling storyline. Things have been foreshadowed. There are hints that something's coming. We have the hint of Kenny Omega maybe super kicking Hangman Adam Page. We're at a point where we can see where it's going, but we ain't there yet. That's where we're at. So they're right, nothing is happening yet.
I mean, a war in Europe after almost 80 years is something happening.
I mean, it's not been 80 years since there was a war. Right, in the last, 30 years?
Excluding the Balkans, that's our pastime.
I was going to say,
Since
in the last 30 years, hasn't Russia tried invading Georgia, 4 times? And Ukraine, doesn't Ukraine fall under Balkans, or does it not? They fall under Slavic. The Slavic countries have had wars before now, so I don't think it's the first war in 80 years. And to be honest, I will be very disappointed if World War III starts over Ukraine.
I mean, World War I started over a Serbian ambassador
True.
being shot or something.
Yeah. If there's anyone who's watching here from Ukraine, I'm sorry, I just don't care about your country. It doesn't affect me at all. I don't care. I'm sorry. It affects you maybe a bit more.
Most considerate Scot.
Yeah, it's look. It doesn't affect me. We're an island. We're an island, so I'm fine. I say I'm fine. I'm fine from being invaded from Russia. There are many other issues that affect us further west than Russia. Russia's not something I worry about. And I can get into that, but Russia's not if you live in Finland or Georgia or somewhere like that, you can be worried about Russia. Fair enough. That's a fair concern. As a Scot, it's not. When I think of shit I worry about, or things that are on my mind, I don't think of Russia. I think about the Ukraine conflict maybe once a week. I don't care about it because it's people worry about things that affect them, the gas prices in America. I don't give a shit about the gas prices in America. Your infrastructure is built around having to drive everywhere. It's your own fault. I don't worry about America's gas prices. I don't care. It's not my problem. And I know I am being the most considerate Scot, but I think it's a human nature thing in general to not, things that affect your priority. The TV can tell you somewhere else has got a big issue, but in the end, do you care that much? You throw a little bit of cash at it, but at the same time, you ain't going to fight Ukraine. Some Redditors did and they all died. But at least they got their updates. In reality, the majority of people they'll throw money about it. Maybe they'll put a Ukraine flag on your Facebook page, but what are they actually going to do to fix it? Nothing, because they don't care. Hell, most people don't do anything to fix their own issues. But most people think that, you know, fighting the good fight is putting a fucking thing on their Facebook page. You know, like, oh yeah, that's what Martin Luther King did. Martin Luther King, he put a black square on his Facebook page. Problem solved. Like, no, people actually need to get off their fucking ass and do something. But I'm aware that's pretty hard when 50% of your population look like the fucking Michelin Man. Like, to be fair, I'm sure walking as a marshmallow is hard, but you know, you take those first few steps. Eventually, you get to a normal size, and then you can actually do something besides taking your grubby sausage fingers and putting a black square on your fucking Facebook page. Good job. Does anyone want to
But
say?
TikTok said it would work.
TikTok lied.
Impossible.
I love how this
Who
is
would go on the internet and say lies?
I love how this is the episode we bring on a guest, and this is the episode I end up ranting the most.
Yeah.
Homie, would you like to give a rant, homie?
Don't have anything to rant about.
Tell us
actually.
Rant about the financial situation in Greece. There's always something to rant about with the financial situation in Greece.
There is something to rant about the political situation in Greece.
Oh yeah,
And that is that.
your trains don't work, or whatever.
Not that. Let's keep the actual train tragedy.
Insert the
because it's been overplayed in the media already, like way too much.
Insert the Megamind, the meme, the no bitches with no trains.
It happened 2 weeks ago, and the news still talk about every day with action movie music in the background. It's actually fucking disgusting.
Oh my god.
They're just trying to profit as much as they can. They're trying to milk the dead children as much as they can.
That's crazy.
They're giving Americans a run for their money.
Yeah.
But this is not what I want to talk about, the Greece as a rant. What I want to rant about is that next month we have the Greek elections.
Oh,
and I
God.
just learned that we have Greek elections like a week ago. Like, nobody has talked about, there have been no debates.
You're going to be voting for Golden
Just-
Dawn, I'm correct, right?
Literally. No. Are you fucking insane? And to anyone that doesn't know, Golden Dawn is the actual Nazi party that is not allowed to even apply to become Prime Minister of Greece.
And
And
you're
most of the members
you're on the
have been jailed.
and you're on a podcast with one of the members.
No,
You are?
I'm not.
Proxy's a member of Golden Dawn.
Oh, yes. I had a member of this podcast.
No.
Oh yeah.
No.
The other podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we get into fights like every other episode. And if you want to listen to that, you can check me out on the PCM podcast.
I'll link it in the description.
Fuck you, Alistair. I managed to plug scam this time.
I'll just bleep it out. No, I'll link it in the description.
Good, great.
Though when I come on for a final episode, I expect a link for this show. I gave you nearly a year's worth of content. I deserve that much.
And you will have that.
Thank you.
Have no issue.
Thank you. But yeah, voting for Golden Dawn.
Or not.
Yeah, don't vote for Golden Dawn.
No.
Vote for a party that is not going to
Vote for Golden
further
Dawn.
Greece's financial situation.
Make it the new Kanye West. Vote for Golden Dawn is a meme. So to be fair, Golden Dawn and Kanye
The
West might
funny
have
thing is
similar
that
policies.
you cannot even vote for them at the moment.
Oh really?
They're literally not allowed to.
You know, Golden Dawn and Kanye might have some similar policies, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%.
But at the same time, Kanye, he no longer hates Jews because he saw 22 Jump Street. Or it was 21
Yeah.
Jump Street. Yeah, no, he saw
21 Joe Street.
he saw My Name Jeff and no longer hates the Jews. Now I'm gonna say my cat.
If only Hitler had seen that movie.
Now I'm gonna say something about that movie, and this might be my new catchphrase at this point. Mid. That movie's mid. I did.
Wait, 21 Jump Street?
Yeah.
I enjoyed 21 Jump Street. Is this like a generational thing?
I just thought it wasn't funny.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
But
I suppose I need to go watch Freddy Got Fingered now.
Oh yeah.
So I can, like...
Freddy Got Fingered and $1 Million Extreme presents World Peace. Those are like, that's the funny shit. Like, yeah, I'll admit I have a retarded sense of humor, so don't take what I say as funny with any weight. Though at the same time, most people thought that Justin Roiland was funny, and like if you ask your average,
it was funny for 2 or 3 seasons, it then became repetitive.
It was funny to like laugh at it. There are a few really standout episodes, but this might be a hot take, but Rick and Morty was at its best when it was serious. No joke, like
it was never serious.
Disagree. Do you remember the episode, the one set on the Citadel in season 3, that only focused on people in the Citadel?
Yeah.
That's the best episode, hands down. And that one actually, like, there are jokes in it, but I would call that a serious episode. Like, near the end, a character tries to kill himself. Well, he does. It's implied he kills himself. We have political assassination, police brutality. Like, yeah, I would call it a serious episode.
Yeah, but that's the diamond in the rough. All the other episodes are essentially YouTube poops.
Yeah.
With a big budget.
But that's the thing, the best episode was the one where they were serious. So they should have made more episodes like it, because it was the best one. And are you young enough to have watched Rick and Morty?
Am I? Yes. Yes.
So do you know the episode we are talking about?
I haven't watched, actually, I think the recent
so this was
1 or 2 seasons?
This was season 3, I think. So it was the one where, do you remember the Citadel of Ricks? So there was this whole... it was the episode where it was just like random Rick and Morty's on the Citadel. I think it was called the Ricklantis Mix-Up. It was something like that. It was the one where there was like the schoolboy Mortys, the Morty cop and the Rick cop. And like all that. It's the best episode by far. It's really good.
Okay.
But it's like really fucked up. Like
they also tried to do that in this season, the most recent season, with Analyze Peace, where they have the Peace Avenger or something that just use Peace kill himself because he got made fun of or something, but it failed miserably.
Yeah, no, Rick and Morty it fell off hard. It was a show where like it actually had like serious moments that were good, and then it just kind of just became shit posting by the end, but like bad shit posting.
But to be fair, you need to have a very high IQ to appreciate the jokes of Rick and Morty, especially in the later seasons.
No, there is nothing high IQ about Pickle Rick. To quote my favorite Islamic preacher, in defiance of Allah, the man turned himself into a pickle. This is not funny, it is paganism. That's all I have to say.
Is that a Mimir TV quote?
I don't think he actually said it. I don't think he actually said it. But you never know. You know, on Ugandan TV, they really did ask someone, "Why are you gay?" So, did you see that in Uganda it's now illegal to identify as a homosexual?
Is
no, but I have seen a video of a preacher that goes, "Gay people, they eat the poo-poo. They want us to eat the poo-poo."
Yeah, no, in Uganda it is now, to claim you are a homosexual is now illegal. It's basically what happened was, the UN basically at the start of every story where something bad happens, the UN came in, and they were trying to like push the LGBT agenda, however you want to put that. I'm not saying it's a bad agenda. I'm not saying it's a good agenda. No comment on it. They were trying to push it nonetheless. And it was a bunch of Westoids coming into an African country and trying to push their values onto these people. And these people decided to go, nah, go fuck yourself. And they went on the exact opposite extreme. So in reality, the fact that this happened is entirely the fault of the UN. And what I think is really funny is that now there are people like on Twitter who are claiming that, oh, the reason these African countries are homophobic is the fault of the British. Because you colonized there and you were homophobic at the time. Like, no, it's not our fault. Maybe this wouldn't have happened if the UN had just fucked off. But they didn't, and in retaliation, if you now say you're a homosexual in Uganda, you get arrested. So maybe the UN are at fault here. Crazy idea.
On that same spirit, isn't Mexico doing something similar with the whole Latinx deal?
Maybe.
Where they... I'm not sure if it was a Mexican politician or something, but did hear that they're trying to take steps to totally ban the term Latinx and make a racial slur essentially to call a Latino or Latina Latinx.
I don't agree with banning a word, but I guess good for them because the Latinx thing was retarded as all hell, and it was quite literally just white people saying it.
Yeah, it's just Americans trying to change a different culture because they feel uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, it quite literally was cultural colonization by Americans. Because, I mean, the West really has not... it hasn't got rid of its colonization tendencies. Just now, instead of colonizing for power or for money, for land, we're subtly doing it for the gays or social justice. And you can say what you want about that.
They switched from the empire wind path to the culture wind path.
All I'm saying is, maybe we should just leave these cultures to do their own stuff. We don't have to engage with these cultures. We can say we disagree with what they are doing. I disagree with what Uganda is doing. I'll put my cards on the table and say that I don't agree with what Uganda is doing. However, I am not saying we go in and change Uganda. The Ugandan people are overwhelmingly in favour of this. In fact, their parliament cheered when it passed. Quite overwhelmingly. It's their own country. Let them run their country how they want. It's not our It's not our concern. It is not our country. At the same time, if you don't want Ugandan people coming into countries with with our values because they don't fit in with our values, that's fair enough. I'm sure they don't want us coming into their country and changing their values. Well, we can go. We don't want them coming into our country and changing our values. But yeah, that's how I look at it. But these people who are like going, oh, we need to change Uganda. Well, they're not saying they want to change Uganda. They're being subtle about it. They're saying that this is awful. Someone needs to do something about this. This needs to change. But then they talk about how awful colonization was. They're the modern day colonizers. Let people have their culture. Just because you find it uncomfortable, just let them have it. Let them do what they want to do. You know, foreign sovereignty and all that. The UN isn't a one nation, one world nation or anything. And I think what I'm trying to say...
They are trying to be, though.
They are, yes, they are. The EU are trying as well, and fuck the EU.
I mean, to be honest, any self-respecting nation would want to become a one-world nation. Still, everybody is going to want their tribe to win. It's like that caveman brain we have.
Yeah, but
We have not evolved out of tribalism.
Yeah, but who wants the world to be entirely British? The food will be awful.
I gotta say, there is some savory pies. Savory pies are one thing I'll give British cuisine.
Look,
No,
look,
pasties, meat pies, shepherd's pie,
steak
beef
pies.
Wellington,
Steak pie's
steak
nice.
pies.
Yeah,
none of those.
I'll take a steak pie. That's nice. All I'm saying is I don't want to be eating the deep fried Mars bar for the rest of my life because it's a one world nation.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, that sucks. And to be fair, I'm not a big guy on Japanese cuisine either.
What? Are you fucking shitting me?
I don't like fish that
Me
much.
neither. I don't like sushi.
A lot of Asian countries just seem to eat anything, and they like to eat fish a lot. And I don't like fish that much. I like tuna, but that's about it when it comes to fish. I'm just.
Okay,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I am rambling this episode.
all I can say is, whoa. Just straight sadness fills me.
To be fair,
No, Japanese cuisine is great. You don't even need to like sushi to like Japanese food.
can I defend myself for a moment? I'm not a big eater in general. I've been trying
Me too.
I've been trying to eat way more because I've been trying to put on weight, and it's been really difficult. I'm not huge into eating in general. So, I'm a picky eater with loads of things because I'm not a huge eater in general. So, I have the things I like, and that's about it.
Yeah, this is also the one thing I say that people find insane is that if I had the option to not eat anything and survive, I would take that bet any day of the week.
Yeah, I probably would agree with you on that one. If hunger no longer exists, and
Wait, would you take it if you couldn't eat anymore?
Probably yes.
Yeah.
And if I can
okay.
maintain a weight,
Yeah.
either I'm like, yeah, I want to gain 5 pounds and I gradually start gaining weight.
Yeah, like you mentally say, all right, I want to get to like this weight, and then just slowly it happens. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that.
That would be great.
Exactly. Like, I'm not. Yeah, I'm just not huge into eating. Like, the whole idea of just not being able to eat sounds great. I don't know if that's like a hot take. That me and Homie are gonna have, and we're gonna have a bunch of like fat neckbeards who are like, "Oh, I have to eat my 500 pounds of meat." Or the average person who would watch a show like this probably does weigh 500 pounds, but
Also, I'm gonna have to admit I wouldn't take the deal.
why not? Well, it's not.
I feel like that's the average take. That's the normie take on that. Because everybody I have mentioned that to has had a severe reaction to it.
I know, it's like telling Greek people they can't wear tank tops. It's like I still
We
don't.
don't do anymore. Just 60-year-olds plus wear tank tops. Everybody else uses the normal t-shirt.
I wear tank tops. God damn it! Look, they're necessary for.
Yeah, tank tops are solid.
Yeah, they're necessary for mosh pits because it gets too warm if you have sleeves. I went into one 2 weeks ago now with a chest injury. Not a bright idea at all. In fact, I started it. I was absolutely drenched in sweat. Tank top saved me. I nearly took my shirt off, to be fair. I was told by...
and now you're going to say that was like 10 degrees Celsius?
It was inside, to be fair. So I don't know how warm it was in there. It was pretty cold outside though, but inside, like all the radiators in the venue were on and all that, to be fair. So it's like it was warm inside.
Then it's fair.
Yeah, it'll probably be warm in the summer when me and Alistair are at Bloodstock, so you'll probably end up seeing a photo of me absolutely drenched in sweat. I actually need to buy more tank tops, so I have one for each day. So I'm going to need 4. I've got 3, I think, right now. So I think I'm going to get one for the band Dying Fetus. Homie's favourite band in the world, aren't they?
I don't know if that's a reference to
sarcastic.
the fact that I'm pro-abortion or...
I have no clue what their stance. I have no clue what their stance on abortion is.
We did a whole fucking episode on PCM.
That episode was
Maybe you
terrible.
weren't on it.
I was on it. The episode was terrible. Seeing that two of us are ex PCM hosts and one of us still is, I can just say with full confidence, probably the worst episode we ever recorded was the abortion episode. Depends. Does the one live stream that is now unavailable to view, does that count as an episode?
No.
Okay, then abortion
But
was the
the
worst
abortion episode had one of the best thumbnails, in my opinion.
It was not.
I really liked that thumbnail.
It was not a bad thumbnail, but literally half the only reason it is notable anymore is because no one lets me hear the end of my Dawn of War audio being in the recording. That's the only reason it's notable, is because you can hear Tau throughout the entire episode.
I do not remember that, to be honest.
Don't go back and listen to it. It was terrible. But no, I was playing the Warhammer strategy game Dawn of War during the recording, and I had a really bad mic at the time, which meant that everyone could hear my desktop audio. So randomly throughout the recording, you can hear characters in the game speaking. The best part was at one point, I think it was my Tau leader says something when there's like a silence, and you think, specifically you thought someone had said something and got confused because you didn't hear what they said. It was not good. It was not good. Though if we want to talk about the worst thing we'd made is in that show, the live stream was bad. That was rough. And I don't know if either of you want to even address that. Or if we're just going to go, that didn't happen. But that was rough.
Yeah, it was a mass hallucination. It never happened.
Didn't happen, okay. We're just cutting that out the lore.
Yes. Well, if you cannot see it on the channel, it clearly never happened. Same with that square in China. Can somebody remember the name? The square where nothing happened?
Tiananmen Square?
I'm not sure about that. It's not that notable.
To be fair though, we can see it, but it's still on the channel. It's just privated. And like, if someone asks me about it, I'll tell them about it. Because when it comes to like the inner workings of the show, I'm pretty open about quite a lot of stuff. If someone like DMs me saying, "Hey, when's the new episode coming out?" I will tell them I'm lazy and whenever I feel like editing. Because I'll be honest, the reason episodes took so long to come out for that show was just because I couldn't be bothered editing. I only finished
It's sort of a pain in the ass, yeah.
I only finished editing the second episode for this about an hour ago. Like it's not been edited for very long. And yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun, so I just don't bother. And
talking about PCM, it's probably not going to be better now that I'm going to be the editor.
Oh god!
Because next month I'm leaving for the military, so I'll probably edit whenever I'm allowed to go out.
If you need me to do one here or there, I probably could. I just won't put any effort into it. And I'll probably still credit you as doing it.
Just corporate sabotage.
Not corporate sabotage. Just
he just adds a whole track of like every popular pop and and metal arts in the background, just so the video gets 50 copyright strikes.
No.
Just nukes the channel.
No. And if I did do that, I would just put a bunch of Five Finger Death Punch songs to make fun of you. But no, like
I don't know why you don't.
they're shit. They're MAGA metal. They're terrible. They quite literally are metal for boomers.
I don't care about their political opinions.
The music in general.
I care about
the
if
music,
their music is good.
The music in general is for boomers. If they sound like the kind of thing a Greek man in a tank top would wear. It's boomer music. It's just not good. I'm sorry. They're a bad band.
Jekyll and Hyde, Got Your Six are top tier songs.
No, they're not. No. No, these are the words of a smooth brain. This man can't listen to a 10-minute song, but he's like,
Says the Tool fan. Says the Tool fan.
Tool are good. Tool are top tier. I'm sorry, but I'm right about it. I know the pieces fit and they are top tier. They may have the reputation as having a smooth brain fan base, and they do. They have a smooth brain fan base, but our brains aren't as smooth as Five Finger Death Punch fans, because Five Finger Death Punch fans, they are the same thing as people as MAGA supporters. They are the same group. So as far as I'm concerned, QAnon shamans are smoother brains than retards who talk about how much they love Maynard's dick.
I assume Maynard's a singer?
Yeah. Tool fans will get that joke. They have a song called Maynard's Dick. So it works on 2 levels. But, yeah, no, smooth brain fanbase, I'll admit that. But no, try to listen to a 10-minute song. Because,
You listen to that Dream Theater song you sent me, which was...
The Ministry of Lost Souls.
Very sad boy, emo-like song.
It's my favorite song, you bastard. That song is amazing. You are a I hate you so much just for that. That song it's 15 minutes. It's not even that bad.
It's not bad. It's just kind of emo edgy like.
I don't think Dream Theater.
I feel like somebody in the comments going to write down like RARXD.
Yeah, I don't think you know what emo kids are. Do they just not exist in Greece?
To be fair, it was kind of before my time, and B, yes, there was never a big emo scene here.
Yeah, the moment the emo kid walks outside, they get a ball thrown at them by the man in the tank top listening to Five Finger Death Punch. Gets in that face pretty quickly. No, like, I'll put it this way. As someone who knows people who are emo, and his last girlfriend would call herself emo, one, they couldn't sit through the Ministry of Lost Souls. That song is too long for them. And 2, they'd be like, what?
But that's Zoomer emos, not old school emos.
No, even old school emos wouldn't be able to sit through it. And number 2, they would hear it and go, what the fuck is this? This is just pop. This is normie music. It's not edgy enough. Like, yeah, that would be them.
I don't know, man. Chasing over your dead girlfriend's ghost and...
It's not his girlfriend. You didn't
what was it about? I didn't really listen to the lyrics.
The song is basically about a guy who saves a woman from drowning. So she ends up getting like survivor's guilt from the whole ordeal and goes to kill herself. And then from like the afterlife or whatever, he uses like all his strength or whatever to go back to the living world as like a ghost or something to stop her killing herself, and then goes back to the afterlife. Something like that.
But you see how that's very emo.
Not really.
Like, I'm killing myself, but I'm going to come back because I love you.
He doesn't love her. That's never said in the song. It's no, it's really good. You are smooth-brained. I'm sorry. This is a Five Finger Death Punch fan. They hear any song with like any emotional themes in the slightest, and they immediately go emo, emo, emo. Oh, it's not a bunch of guys trying to pretend like they're really badass when they really just like beating women. Oh, it's immediately just emo. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, the vocalist for Five Finger Death Punch can't write anything that isn't him trying to hide the fact that that his sister and his mother have restraining orders against him because he has a history of violence against women. That's really badass, guys, and that's what all their lyrics are. Is just we're tough, we're hard, but they don't have the riffs of Pantera, because Pantera get away with that because their riffs are fucking sick. These guys just make music for people to play at Trump rallies. Did you
For Judgment Day is a song where they don't act like they're all badass and all.
Have you guys ever seen the footage of MAGA supporters playing "Laid to Rest" by Lamb of God at their rallies?
No, I haven't.
It's really funny because the album it's off it's like blatantly very anti-George Bush and the war in Afghanistan. Like, the album cover quite literally has vultures being shot out of tanks with bullets in their mouths, being shot like raining down upon like what is quite clearly based on like the Middle East. And these people are like, yeah, this is a hard badass song, when like Randy Blythe hates everything they stand for, and the music quite clearly is not in favor of them. It's the same thing when they play "Killing in the Name" at their rallies. Look at it this way: it's like if the Democrats started playing Pantera songs. It doesn't work.
What I saw was that in the new D&D music they had Pantera songs, which is very unlike the D&D community.
Yeah.
It was a very weird choice.
Yeah.
And disclaimer, I have not seen the movie yet, so I'm not sure when that song is used.
Wait, let's see. I'm going to see what song it is. Let's see if the soundtrack's on Spotify.
I did see it on Spotify. That's where I noticed it.
Is it a playlist or an album? Okay, got it.
Playlist
I got it. I'm just seeing music by someone called Lorna Balfe. Oh, that's the soundtrack. That's the. I'm struggling to find it. What's the movie called?
Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves.
Okay, thank you. I want to see what song it is. Do you guys know your Pantera at all?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say, do you want to try to take predictions of what song it is? I'm gonna say it's Walk. You should listen to Pantera, Andrew. Like, they may like. Apparently they have a song of Witcher 3. What?
Oh, did they?
And
okay, though.
And Skyrim as well, apparently, and it's okay, no, this is not the set. There is no way in hell they have Through the Fire and the Flames on this soundtrack.
I'll believe it.
No way they do. I'm not seeing anything about Pantera in this. The music. I'm not seeing anything about Pantera, and I don't believe for a second they have Through the Fire and the Flames on it. There's no way they did. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about Pantera. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing it. But nonetheless, I'm not seeing that movie. I remember the last Dungeons and Dragons movie, the one with Dennis. Was Dennis Hopper in that one, or was he in the Mario movie?
No, you're thinking it was Dennis Hopper's the Mario movie. You're thinking Jeremy Irons.
That's it.
I gotta say, I thought Jeremy Irons was like the one good thing about the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
That movie just like I can enjoy the old Mario movie. Ironically, that Dungeons and Dragons movie fucking sucks.
Can you enjoy the Street Fighter movie though?
Yes.
Oh really? Oh, okay.
There are lines in it that are like that are fun. I'm sorry. What's it? For me, it was Wednesday or whatever the line was.
For me, it was Tuesday.
Tuesday,
that's a solid line.
Top tier. That is top tier Kino. I'm sorry. That line is chef's kiss. That line is perfection. That like I see it get quoted quite a bit in wrestling of all things, because it's so good. I can enjoy aspects of that movie though. I played I think it was Ultra Street Fighter 4 as a kid, like as a young kid. And I saw the Street Fighter movie come up on my Netflix, and I watched it, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? Where's Ryu? Where's Ken?" And that was a. Are you familiar with the game based off that movie, though?
I am.
So what's weird about the Street Fighter movie game is it rips off Mortal Kombat. So it takes the like the whole real people edited into the game, and like how Prince of Persia did the original one for that, or how the first 3 Mortal Kombats were. That's what they do for the Street Fighter movie game, which is really weird. Anyway, Homie, you said you have a list about stuff you want to talk about for The Sopranos, if I'm correct.
Yeah, not stuff I want to talk about, just general observation I made while watching through the show.
Shall we get on
and
to
that? To be fair, I did watch through the show about 4 or 5 months ago, so my memory might not be as great.
I saw it like 3 years ago. I'll try my best at this. I watched the first 2 seasons last summer. Anyway, let's try nonetheless. So yeah,
I'm going to start with the first observation.
Give us an observation.
I recently replayed through GTA 5, and I see a lot of parallels with Michael from GTA 5 and Tony Soprano. GTA 5 is definitely inspired by The Sopranos to a large degree, down to actually going to the therapist.
Just the one part I didn't get inspiration from was making a good story.
Yeah. I will have to agree with that. I mean, it was an okay story, but not
it was
at par with the other GTAs.
This might be a hot take, but it was a good story till Trevor entered the story.
Yeah.
Which, the moment I say that, everyone immediately goes, "What? Trevor was the best part!" But like, no, he was the worst.
I don't get why so many people like him.
He literally, like, the storyline made sense up until he came in, and he just derailed everything.
I think I can tell you why people like Trevor.
Mental retardation?
Well, I was going to say, Trevor is the most GTA character in GTA 5.
Yeah, I get he's maybe like a representation of like the chaos people do in the games or whatever, but like look, the game had a really decent story of like, oh, this old retired criminal coming out and teaching this young guy about the criminal underworld. Like, it wasn't spectacular, but it was decent. It was good. It was good. I liked Michael and Franklin's dynamic, and then Trevor comes in and he derails it, and Franklin just gets sidelined to all hell. And that's
what I really hated about it was how they introduced him, where he just kills the character from the previous game.
Yeah.
And he's basically just that badass biker club president, and he just stomps him.
It's
kind of like how in the DC comics, to show the power scale, just the new bad guy shows up and one-shots the old bad guy. That's kind of the vibe that I got.
That's how loads of things right though, is like, oh, we have to introduce our new character. What do we do? Just have him kill the old guy. Dragon Ball Z does that all the time. What's it called? Warhammer is really bad for that. Just instead, they have the person kill the Avatar Kane. Because, oh, he can come back. So the Avatar Kane is a little bitch now. Because, cool, he can just be killed by everyone. Anyway, before we completely get off track, Sopranos.
We return.
So, Homie, give us another observation you had about the show.
That they took a very good mental health angle for the 2000s. I was actually surprised by that and how pro mental health and like going to a psychologist and all of that deal, which honestly I thought was mostly a 2015 and after thing. They do talk about kind of in the show how what the world would think if I go to the shrink, if I go to a therapist.
Well, I mean, Tony's mother does have that one line where she's like, "A psychiatrist? Isn't that a racket for the Jews?" It's just really funny.
But at the end of the day, they are criminals, and I feel like even in modern day, if like a mafia boss were to go to a psychologist, he would get bullied to all hell.
Well, they probably suspect that. Well, I mean, I think it's mentioned in the show that some of these people do suspect that he might be giving stuff away about the business. That's more or less why I think there's suspicion around it. That, and then like the old school mentality of like, we don't talk about shit ever.
Yeah.
Omer.
The other thing I have not done right below that is mentions of vasectomy.
Oh god, I remember.
Which was all surprising because I didn't know it existed so far back.
I was I don't think I was I don't remember being particularly fond of that subplot. However, there was one really funny line, which was when Tony was talking about AJ, and he says to Carmela, "How you expect me to get a vasectomy when this is my primary male heir?" And he just points at AJ. That was really funny, but also fucked up at the same time. Like, imagine your dad saying that to you. That was good, but like I still didn't care for that subplot. But yeah. I think the subplot can be dreadful and Tony will still be funny. Though,
yeah, which is why before seeing the series, from what I had heard, I thought it was a mafia comedy type thing.
Yeah,
perhaps a black comedy.
It nearly is at times. Like it's kind of if I can compare it to anything, it's kind of like Breaking Bad at times, where it's like really funny at points, but then you'll have Todd shoot a child in Breaking Bad, or you'll have what's his name, Ralphie beat a pregnant woman to death, and it's I just laughed when I said that. That's bad, but it's you'll have these moments that are really funny, be it when Meadow brings over that guy. What the fuck? What's his name? The black.
Which one? The black guy.
The black Jewish fellow. What's his name?
Don't remember.
Oh my god, that's really bad. I forgot his name because that's like one of my favorite subplots in the show. I can't remember his name, but you know what I'm saying, like Tony's like calling them all these Italian slurs for black, and he's like the kid has no clue what he's on about. That was pretty funny. I do love how there's like compilations on YouTube where it's like The Sopranos being based, and it's like Tony just says racial slurs for black people in Italian, or they just take all the clips from my favorite subplot on this show about Vito being a homosexual, which is it's really good at like exploring what it is like to be one in the Italian mafia, which is very Catholic, but it's also really funny at the same time, and has the really dark ending of. Andrew, have you seen The Sopranos?
No.
I'm assuming you have no issue with me spoiling it.
Go ahead. Yeah, go on.
You should.
It's a 20-year-old show, so
True. You should still watch it. It's very good. I'm sure Homie will agree with me on that one.
I will. And about the comedy moments I want to add before is what makes this series so fucking realistic.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't stick to a genre. It's literally just like real life.
Yeah.
And that is pointed out even more with the scenes where they just sit down and have dinner and speak. And there is nothing to those scenes.
And
they just sit down like a family and speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite character in the show is Phil Leotardo, who comes in, I think, season 5. And he's probably the most quotable character in the show, and he's probably the funniest as well. My family.
The How Was Florida line is my favorite one.
That is a classic. I said that to so many people once I got back from Florida last year. So the line goes for anyone who's not watched the show, including Nander. Phil visits Florida a lot, so him and Tony are at this. I think it's a party or something. Tony goes up to Phil and just says, "How was Florida?" And Phil immediately just writes, "Hot and sticky like my balls." Perfect line. Now, when I got back from Florida, every time I got asked that was my response. Was how was Florida? Hot and sticky like my balls. I said that to a now ex-girlfriend of mine. I don't think she found it funny, but I found it funny, so I don't care.
Maybe that was the reason for the breakup.
No, that came much later. That might have been the starting point. I don't know. Maybe she found it hot. I don't know. But either way, I said that to a lot of people because that is a classic line. But that's just the kind of shit that Phil says in the show. Or you've got the compromise line, where if I remember correctly, it's like, I wanted to eat, I can't remember, it was some Italian meal, I can't remember, but I compromised. I ate grilled cheese off the radiator. I wanted to fuck a woman. I compromised. I jacked off into a tissue. He has so many great lines like that. But then he's just kind of sad. He's just like, he comes off as just a very sad character. I mean, his kid brother dies gets murdered in the 5th season, and he just wants revenge for it, and that's him in quite a lot of the show. Is just that he's spiteful, and he always has something he needs to get back at someone for. He never seems like a satisfied person, and yeah, he has all these jokes that are really funny, but in the end he just comes off as someone who's really sad. And that's a lot of the characters in the show. Quite a lot of the funniest characters in the show tend to be the ones who are the most sad overall. Like Paulie, really funny character. He has no one. He's got his mother, and that's it. He doesn't have a wife or
which, as we learn a bit later down the show, is not even his real mother.
Exactly. Like once that happens, he has no one. He doesn't have kids. He doesn't have a spouse. He doesn't have a brother or a sister. He has no one but Tony, and that's it really. And even then, when it comes to these conversations the Mafia have with each other, it's not like they're open with each other. A lot of them are playing characters in a way. They're very closed up. So when the only person Paulie really has in his life is his boss, really, who he is very closed up about, and he has to be very careful with what he says because he is his boss in the fucking Mafia. It creates a man who's really just unhappy with his life. Because, yeah, he's lonely. There's no other way of putting that. Paulie is a lonely character. And this is one of the funniest characters in the show, and that's what I think you're getting at. And I think that you're right by that, homie, is that, yeah, the fact that you can have your comic relief character just be a depressed, lonely guy really reflects how realistic the show can be. In that, yeah, you can have someone in your life who tells a lot of jokes, that he's a funny man, and in the end he's just unhappy with his life, like a lot of people are, I think. And
at the end, is there anyone who wonders if the clowns get to laugh? I don't remember where that quote's from, but it just came to mind.
Yeah, that I was literally thinking of the sad clown. Doesn't Tony compare himself to a sad clown at one point in the show?
I think so.
I think he does. So yeah, we're pretty on point with that reference.
Probably in one of those therapy sessions, which I have also noted down that in season 2, episode 9, Tony has the delusion that he's going to go to heaven, even though, like, at this point we have seen him just hit people over with his car, go down and finish them off by beating them to shit on the pavement and stuff like that.
Well, there was the episode 6 is the one of the best episodes. It's the one where he takes Meadow up to look at like her dream universities, and eventually he just kind of abandons her to go murder a man. And you can tell with his line afterwards and the fact that he did abandon her, that's their relationship starting to break down. And that's what a lot of the show is. It's just, it's a man trying to change, but he can't get out of his ways, and eventually he just gets further and further down this rabbit hole of destroying his life. And in the end, he's dead. Like, I know it's like left in the air if Tony's alive or dead or at the end of the show. I assume we're both in agreement, homie. He's dead.
Yeah.
He's.
And I kind of think that Polly ordered the hit. Because
Maybe.
At the end, he's the only one left alive.
I don't think Polly ordered the hit. As I said, Tony's the only man in Polly's life, so I don't see Polly killing the only person he really has close to him in his life.
I mean, by the end of the show, everybody is scared of Tony. I mean, you can see it with Bobby, I think.
Yeah.
Where they just go in the car right after the fight and he's clearly scared for his fighting life. He's looking around and then Tony just takes him fishing.
Oh, that was... Bobby's
Same
death
with-
was the hardest one, man. I
Yeah.
loved that
in
man.
the train shop, in the model train shop.
I love that man so much.
That and Chris's death were fucking devastating.
Chris's wasn't as bad as Bobby's, but I loved that man so much. He was like, he may have been like in the mafia, but he was genuinely just like a huge teddy bear of a man. I loved him. He was so good, and
But
it was a shame like in that final season where we didn't get like an extra scene or two of Bobby and Junior together, because like their dynamic from like season 2 onwards was so good. Like that was like my favorite stuff in the show. I would have loved, like, they could have made like a sitcom of Bobby and Junior trapped in and Junior's like, say Junior's trapped in his house, and it would have been the most Kano thing I've ever seen.
yeah, to be fair, at the start, I didn't even know that Bobby was in the mafia. I just thought that he was the assigned caregiver to Junior.
One sec, I'm having issues on my mic. One sec. Shit. Just keep talking so I can actually figure out if I'm fixing my mic.
Yeah,
Alright, fixed. Yeah, so
fast.
yeah, sorry, my mic just stopped working for a second, so I had to adjust it. But yeah, no, Bobby was a top tier character. That was one of the hardest deaths. That and like Vito was one I actually felt really bad for. Though
Yeah, it was also very jarring.
to be fair, I think the fun that's
With Leotardo coming out of the fucking clothes.
that's what I was
like a
gonna say.
demon.
Like, I love the jokes people make online where it's like, it's just like Phil's guys are asking him like, "Oh, where are you gonna stand?" He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go be a metaphor," and it's just like I want to know how long Phil stood in the closet there so he can make his dramatic entrance. It's honestly, it's like, it's something out of like anime or something. It's like the most over the top dramatic shit I've ever seen. It's unintentionally hilarious, and it's kind of jarred with the rest of the scene, but I don't care because it's so unintentionally funny that I wouldn't have it any other way. Basically, for anyone who's not seen the show again, or for Ander as well, so basically, so there's this whole subplot about this character called Vito who is closeted as a homosexual in the mafia, and eventually he gets found out and he leaves New Jersey for a while, but then tries to come back because he just can't get out of, like, he feels this need to be part of this. And what ends up happening is that I want to say Phil's his cousin-in-law? No, it's brother-in-law. Because Phil has that line where he says, "I loved him like a brother-in-law," which is a really good line as well. And yeah, Phil has Vito killed, and there's this scene where Vito's hiding out in this motel, opens his door, and Phil's guys start beating him, and there's this closet in the motel, and Phil's been waiting in there, and he like pulls like the thing to like open it, and he's just standing in there, and Phil's been waiting in this closet for we don't know how long, just to make a dramatic entrance, and it's the most like silly shit in the world, and I loved it. It's like I'll get the.
There is also that theory that Phil was also gay and he was kind of projecting on Vito.
I don't believe that one. I think he, when Vito was being murdered, I think he regrets doing it and he feels like bad about it, because you do see him like grabbing onto the bed when they're doing it. I think he feels a level of regret about doing it. He doesn't. It's not when he's killing so he can do just with like no thought about it. That's the clip for you, Under. It's it's an unintentionally hilarious scene, but I don't care. It's great. But that subplot is easily my favorite in the show. It's surprisingly really well handled, because this was still like 2007 or something. So like I'm surprised it was handled so well, but like that.
I think the final season was 2006 or something.
I think it was 7. I think they split it in half. I think like Breaking Bad, because you know Breaking Bad's final season was split in half. I think so. Yeah, Sopranos did as well, because they were absolute bastards with it, and they if you were buying the DVDs of the final season, you had to buy 2 DVDs, which is fucking bullshit, might I add.
They do that shit in Greece with all the soap operas.
Yeah, do you see what
they release like a season, like season 2 only exclusive on DVD, and then 2 years later season 2 comes up on TV.
Yeah, do you see what we mean, Ander?
Wait. Vito gets whacked.
It's
Jesus.
It's just how it comes in the closets. It's so unintentionally funny.
Yeah.
But to be fair, it might have been intentional.
I mean, yeah, no, it is.
I mean, if you have that dark of a scene on it was a like Saturday night thing, The Sopranos.
It might have been. I didn't see it when it aired because I was I
was a fucking baby.
When it started, I wasn't born. When it ended, I was 2 years old.
I feel old.
If you want to feel...
Andrew probably more.
Oh, I was about to say, yeah, no. Andrew was probably... I think he would have been an adult when that show was airing, so...
Yeah, either pretty much or yes.
It came out, I think, just after Metal... No, it started... I want to say it was 99. It was 99 or 2000, I think it started.
Okay. Well, then I was in high school.
Let's see. When did The Sopranos? 1999 to 2007. Apparently, Chris Pratt's Mario sounded like Tony Soprano. If you look up The Sopranos,
I highly doubt that.
If you look up The Sopranos right now, it comes up with articles saying that Chris Pratt's Mario voice was originally to Tony Soprano. Which...
Toad, where's the gabagoo?
Luigi, where's the gabagoo? That would have been brilliant. I'm still not...
Yeah, that...
Come on, that would have been brilliant if he had like a New Jersey Italian accent, and he just talked.
I agree. It would have been brilliant.
His Mario voice is kind of milquetoast right now. I've not seen that movie, but from what I've seen in the trailers, it's kind of meh.
It sounds like his actual voice.
It does, yeah. I'm not seeing that movie, but yeah, it looks kind of meh.
The reviews have been pretty meh.
You could say mid even, but no, I'm not gonna go see that movie. I don't.
Talking about mid, which was the most mid character in The Sopranos? Or maybe the worst.
The worst character, Janice.
Yeah.
Olivia at least died. Janice didn't die. Fuck Janice.
She killed like what 2 or 3 husbands during the course of the show.
I don't think she killed that man. She killed Richie, but Richie deserved it, to be fair.
And she pushed the previous one down the stairs, if I remember correctly. Ended up to him dying.
I don't remember that, but I'll take your word on that one. But to be fair, Richie was a bastard. He deserved that.
Yeah.
All you need to know, for anyone who's not seen the show, Richie was abusive. Janice shoots and kills him because he hit her, like full on hit her. So yeah, he was a bastard. He deserved that. And
I have a single note next to Janice. It
oh,
just says stolen leg.
I forgot about that. I forgot she steals some woman's leg. That was brilliant.
And she was like the housekeeper or something that...
It was the Russian housekeeper, the one who was related to Tony's the horror Tony was fucking the Russian or Czechoslovakia, whatever she was, some Slavic country, the one who was really hot. She was like related to her, and Janice steals her leg. I do love how you have all these notes wrote out, and on Janice you just have a stolen leg.
It was the moment that cemented her as a total bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can all agree that was the cunt moment for her.
And it was over... What? Tony's mother gave her some records.
I think it was that. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she won the records back, so she stole her leg as leverage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Janice is like. I didn't like her before that. There was she's kind of. She's what I'd imagine a female Tool fan is like. It's like. You know what I mean, right? Oh, I smoked tons of weed and now I'm spiritual. Didn't she change her name as a kid to Parvati or something? I swear she did something like that.
Yeah, and then after she has a near-death experience, becomes a devout Christian,
yeah,
she was her whole life.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Also, that Rolling Stones tattoo is not good. The one that's on her boob or whatever, that's not a good tattoo. it's not.
I somehow don't remember that.
She has I think it's on one of her boobs or something. She has a Rolling Stones tattoo. You know, the tongue Rolling Stones logo. The actress has a bad tattoo. It's not as bad as the one Cody Rhodes has on his neck. It's nowhere near as bad as that, but it's still not a good tattoo. Don't get Rolling Stones tattoos in general. You look like a moron if you have the tongue Rolling Stones tattoo logo tattooed on your body. And I don't mind the Rolling Stones, but just
any type of corporate logo is a bad idea for a tattoo, in my opinion.
Yeah, the only thing I can imagine that would be worse is the generic Nirvana shirt, the one with the smiley face on it. Imagine getting that. That's.
I know somebody who has that tattoo.
Oh no!
Very good person, but bad choices. I'm not going to say anything else. They're a very good person, but they do have some bad tattoo.
I have a mate who's getting a tattoo. I think it's this month. So he's planning on getting a whole sleeve on his arm. that's just Tolkien stuff. So he's getting right down the inside bit of his arm. He's getting I think it's Sauron is what he's getting right now, like from the start of Fellowship. You know when there's that huge war at the start. He's getting like Sauron from that, and he's gonna plan on getting like a whole sleeve of just Tolkien stuff, which.
He's so going to regret this when the show gets rebooted by Amazon or Netflix.
No, he's not. He doesn't give a shit about the show. He likes the books and the movies, and like, if you can ignore that stuff, good for him.
Fair.
That's pretty cool though. I think the funniest tattoo I've seen based on something that is relevant is there's a wrestler called Enzo Amore who has a tattoo of Tony Soprano on him. I'll see if I can get you a photo of this. All I'll say is Enzo Amore. He's a character.
Well, that's far from the worst tattoo that has existed, because I have seen somebody do a Trump virus tattoo with Trump as the coronavirus. And now they have that
I've seen that, yeah.
on their body.
Well, I'm trying to see if I can get a. I'm trying to find a picture of Enzo Amore's Tony Soprano tattoo. I hate how if I look up Enzo Amore Tony Soprano tattoo, it comes up with tons of tattoos of Tony Soprano. Okay, I'm gonna look up Enzo Amore 2023 because I don't think he had this when he was in WWE. So if I can find a recent photo of him, I might be able to find a picture of his Tony Soprano. I can't seem to find a photo of this, but all I'll say is he's a wild character. All you need to know: bleach blonde hair, brown beard. Does that give you an idea of the kind of guy he is?
Kinda, yeah.
He's also apparently a huge dick in real life.
Not surprising.
Yeah.
That seems like a lot of people are.
Especially in wrestling. It's impressive if you're not a dick in wrestling.
Fun fact about that. Did you know that in the Fast and Furious movies, The Rock and Vin Diesel have made a pact that none of the two can take one more punch than the other. They both have to get beat up the exact same amount.
To be fair, The Rock is kind of a dickhead, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, is he a dick? I don't know much about him.
So there's been a lot of stuff that's been going on with him in his DC movies where it appears he's tried to bury everyone else for his own ego. I don't know if this was on him or not, but he ended up ending CM Punk's historic title reign just so he can have a match with John Cena as a part-timer, which was a terrible booking decision, I'm not gonna lie, and that was partially on him. He comes off like a bit of a dick, I won't lie. He comes off as like one of those guys who's like, he seems really nice on the cameras and all that, but
he has a very big ego, from what I've heard.
Yeah, huge ego. Humongous ego, and very clearly also lies about taking steroids. Yeah, he's
6'3", 6 what? You cannot be that big and that jacked without steroids.
Exactly, he's very clearly on steroids, but yeah, he seems to have a humongous ego. But that's the thing with pro wrestling. Everyone's a dick in wrestling. All you need to know is if I had to rank the 5 biggest dicks in wrestling, the first 2 have both murdered people. That gives you an idea how bad it is. And for anyone wondering, Chris Benoit is not on that list because he had the brain of a man with an 8-year-old with Alzheimer's because of concussions. So he doesn't count. Even though he murdered himself, his wife, and his son. I was about to say I'll let him off with it, but no. That's a really bad way of putting it. He
clearly didn't let himself off with it.
Yeah, he didn't know what he was doing, is how I will put it. Based on the brain autopsy, he very clearly did not know what he was doing. So, apparently he was a nice enough guy in real life before that happened. Seems like a tad bit of a dick, I won't lie, because he was involved with hazing that
you
one
kill
guy.
your family and child. You're a bit of a dick.
No. So before that happened, there was a public hazing. I think him, JBL, and Eddie Guerrero did on a guy in the Royal Rumble one time, which kind of gives the impression that backstage he was one of those guys who was like just bullying people because he could, because he was higher up in the company. No clue if he was. He just did something that gives the impression he did. This was before his CBT was as cock and ball torture. I don't know what the anagram is for having brain damage, but
Cognitive behavioral therapy.
No, it's not. It might be that. I don't know what it was. He had really bad brain damage though from concussions. Clearly was not in control of what he was doing, so I wouldn't include him in my list of top 5 biggest dicks in wrestling. Number 1 is New Jack. Murdered multiple people as a bounty hunter. Tried to kill 3 people in the ring. Somehow failed all 3 of them. New Jack is quite a character. We could do a whole episode on New Jack. I think he's funny, but that's not for a good reason. I won't go further on that one, but yeah, I think just to be fair, in the entertainment industry in general, everyone's a dickhead. That's just, I think that's just a part of it. Though if you want to get the Sopranos, Michael Imperioli actually seems like a pretty cool guy, I won't lie. So him and I think his name's Steve Sherpa, the guy who played Bobby, do a show talking about each episode. And Michael Imperioli just seems like a cool guy who just wants to break down every part. That show is like unlistenable. I won't lie. Like, it's worse than this show. It's absolutely unlistenable because because Steve Sherpa and Michael Imperioli very clearly want to make 2 very different shows. Michael Imperioli wants to like break down what all the metaphors and deeper meanings of the show is there. Steve Sherpa wants to tell stories. And he's like talking about other people he knows in the entertainment industry and all that. Like, he wants to tell funny stories. Michael Imperioli wants to break down the show. And it creates this issue where no one gets what they want. Because Michael will try talk about a deeper meaning and Steve will interrupt him. And Steve will be trying to tell him of his stories and Michael will try to talk about one of the deeper meanings and it just doesn't work. I think both of those would make decent and entertaining enough shows. It just doesn't work when they're both together trying to make 2 different shows. They're button heads. It's not good. It's somehow...
On the topic of... Yeah, you finish.
All I was going to say was it's somehow less listenable than this show.
A mean feat.
Yeah, I mean, when you have... Yeah, I'm not going to try bury anyone, but like... I'll bury myself. Well, when you're making a show with me, odds are it's not listenable. Just based on the fact that...
I did listen to the first episode, was pretty listenable, in my opinion.
You also think Five Finger Death Punch is listenable, so we're not going to take your opinion on that.
That's almost like suicide by words, just because he's trying to throw us a bone here, dude. Thank you, homie. Yeah,
to be fair, if you go on your if you go on your analytics on YouTube, you will probably just see one person that made it through the entire episode.
I can do that right now.
That was me.
Let's take a look. I think we have 10 views. Oh, cool, something went wrong. Good thing I don't show my screen, I only show tiny little parts of it. Because then people would see what I actually watch on YouTube. And I don't want that coming out, do I? Let's take a look at the analytics.
all your Sigma, all your Sigma male playlists.
I watched some of those ironically, actually. Okay, 3.6 hours. So yeah, you watched the entire. About the average percentage viewed was 11%. We have 13 views. We gained a subscriber from that, and that was probably
so 11% out of the 10 views is somebody making through the entire podcast, and then 9 people making 1% of the watch time.
Yeah, so it was about 3 hours, so 3.6 is the overall watched hours. So 0.6 was actually watched, and Homie watched 3 hours. In future, please watch on Spotify so you don't fuck up our analytics, Homie. The show is available on Spotify.
I have been trying to transition to Spotify slowly because I can listen to it on my PS4 while playing video games.
Oh, that's great when you're able to do that. The only issue is when you have an 800 song playlist and you want to listen to something at the end.
As I said before, my song playlist has 3,000 songs.
I didn't know Five Finger Death Punch released 3,000 songs.
They have released 187 officially, I think.
And they're all on your playlist.
No, but I have a playlist on Spotify with most of their songs.
Oh no, that's awful. You're hurting me here. You're hurting me, Homie. How does it feel to know
He's
you're
chosen his path?
It's perfect for boss battles. It's just that music just hitting you, hyping you up.
No. I would like to point out I play Chivalry 2 while listening to psychedelic metal. It works well enough. No. You know what? At least it's not Slipknot.
At least it's not Slipknot.
Yeah.
At least it's not Slipknot.
That could be the name of the episode.
At least it's not Slipknot after Friends Don't Let Friends.
Yeah, no, I could title episode 2 Friends Don't Let Friends Listen to Five Finger Death Punch ... and then episode 3 could be episode 3 ... At least it's not Slipknot. Perfect.
Perfect.
As someone who dated a girl who liked Slipknot, never again. They're such a shit. I don't know if because you were like in high school in like the late 90s, early 2000s maybe. I don't know if you're gonna say you have like nostalgia for Slipknot, Andrew. I remember you placing Linkin Park high on your metal tier list, but
no, I have nostalgia for being angry that other people liked Slipknot. So.
Oh. But you like Linkin Park.
Yeah, I do like Linkin Park. I mean, it's not really metal. I sort of ranked it high just because I like it as music, but
I don't know who's worse here. You or Homie.
No, you know what? Fuck you. Me and Andrea are making our own party over here, and you are not invited.
That's fine. I have Tool Lucid Planet. What the fuck do you guys have?
Okay, wait. I have something that's probably gonna make your ears melt because you hate it, but I sometimes listen to mashups of music, right?
Some of that's not bad, actually.
One of the better mashups.
Slipknot and Justin Bieber.
Yeah, it's really good. It's surprisingly good. There's also a really great 9 Inch Nails, The Perfect Drug, mixed with Shake It Off by Taylor Swift.
That sounds... I like 9 Inch Nails a lot. That sounds dreadful.
You should look it up. It's a solid. It is a solid one.
No, to be fair, I could not name you a Taylor Swift song.
Though, do you mind if I tell you actually what I've been listening to on
My
Spotify
playlist
lately?
does probably include a couple Taylor Swift songs.
I didn't know
This
you
man
were.
knows.
I didn't know you were gay.
I'm not.
Greek. Taylor Swift on the playlist. I have to ask the
I
question.
am the exception.
Homie,
I am the exception.
Homie,
can say
I
that.
have to ask the question. This is now becoming the interview of homosexual. I have to ask the question. Are you a top or a bottom?
Top. A sweet.
Switch.
Sweets.
Uh,
There are sometimes where you just don't feel like it. You can't always be top.
That's like mid tier on gayness, so I'll say I respect that enough. Yeah, I respect that. But were you about to...
As is customary in Greece, I do dip myself in olive oil before the act.
Oh yeah, you got to get all lubricated up. You got to be slippery. You know.
Yeah, we get prepared like the Turkish oil wrestlers. And if you don't know what that is, look that up.
Dude, no, Turkish oil
It is the
wrestling
gayest
is
thing
legit.
that exists.
No, it's hilariously. Have you seen this, Alistair?
I have
With like the dudes in their leather pants, like get all oiled up, and they're like,
haven't.
they gotta like.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
There was a.
And the way to pin that down, they literally just try to go inside their pants and grab them by the nuts so they tap out. That's the main strategy.
I remember there was a character in
meta.
There's a character in Street Fighter 4 called Hakan. He was an oil wrestler. I can't remember if he was Turkish. He might have been.
I'm sure he was. He was.
Yeah.
He was.
I'm pretty sure he was. He was also like he was low tier on the meta. But like that's my first discovery of Turkish oil wrestling was Hakan in Street Fighter 4. Though yeah, that is pretty gay. But have you ever engaged in Turkish oil and wrestling, homie? You are Greek, so you are basically a Turk cock sleeve. So you may have experienced it once or twice.
No, because we mostly genocide them and gained our freedom.
But not your land.
A good part of it.
But is it all of it back?
And my lawyer has advised me not to say my actual opinions on the topic.
Yeah. So I think Hobie, the proper response would have been, "Hey, you remember when the British came and took your crown?
You motherfucker.
And like, do you remember how you guys had that magical stone that like made the kings of Scotland the kings of Scotland, and they took it
in
and
Crusader
they
Kings 3,
brought
I
it to
have
West?
it. In Crusader Kings 3, I have it.
Oh, you do.
In my digital realm, I have it back.
You have the NFT of that.
You have the end of
I have the... That's all that matters in the metaverse. I have the Stone of Scone.
It's one of those boomer memes. You say that I'm a nerd, but in gamer world, I am the Chad.
I don't play enough video games anymore to be a wizard in the digital world. I don't know why, like, I've just, like, lost all motivation to play video games that much. Like, I'll play, like, 1 or 2 games of Halo every day, and that's, like, it. Because, like, I'll open up my Steam library, and I'll look through it, and I'll just be like, that's what I want to play. And I just go back to watching YouTube videos or listening to music. Like, I don't know if that's, like, early stage depression or something, but, like, I don't know, like, there's just, like, nothing I want to play anymore.
I mean, there haven't been any good games lately.
But like, not even like lately. Just like I just don't really want to play video games that much anymore. Like,
Also, if we want to move back to the Sopranos thing, we've only discussed my topics up to season 3. What I've written.
Homie
I
saving
still
me
have
from
like
talking
half
about
a list.
depression. Continue, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to get back on topic after that long of a tangent, but anyway. So what I have written next is the rape scene.
Oh, I don't think we can talk about this on YouTube. But quite luckily, it sounded like you said the ape scene, so I think we'll get away with it on YouTube. So we're just gonna skip past this scene. We're not talking about this one.
We are going to skip past it because the show itself skipped past it. It just happened, then it wasn't mentioned again.
Yeah.
Which is fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
They just throw out something like that and they're like, yeah, we're not going to discuss that anymore.
Yeah, that is certainly a good criticism of the show. Now we're not talking about this scene. I don't want to get taken off YouTube immediately. I already got the PCM podcast a COVID warning on Spotify. I don't need us to get a warning. You don't need to get your revenge and get us a warning for talking about certain subjects.
You can use other terminology.
Like what?
Struggle cuddle? I don't know.
I feel the idea of using that term instead feels really dirty and wrong. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No matter what alternative terminology you use, you almost make it sound like you're making a joke of the subject. And like, you can joke about the subject, but like, doing it that way feels wrong. I don't want to do that.
I'll agree with that. But honestly, I'm interested how how the Sopranos handled this topic.
You're now Twitter cancelled just for that comment.
By what?
You're Twitter cancelled.
Oh, wait! For just knowing that specific bit of off-color terminology.
Yes, for using it, you're Twitter cancelled.
I don't use it. I only
used it there.
Fair enough. Okay, I don't use it in daily life.
That's nice. If you want to know how the Sopranos handled it, they didn't.
Yeah, it happened. She kind of the psychologist talked about it to her psychologist, tracked the guy down, teased the audience with saying it to Tony Soprano so he can go and murder the bastard, and then she was like, that's what it is. It is what it is. I'm going to live with it. And she talked about how she didn't want to use Tony as her personal attack dog.
It was it was interesting for her character, but they went to such an extreme with how they got to the situation of her potentially.
It was a very graphic scene.
Yeah,
that was pretty surprising.
Yeah, I got what they were going for about her potentially using the temptation to use Tony to help her with her life in ways, and I got where they were going with it. It was just to get to that storyline, the method they used was so extreme it felt wrong. There were a million other scenarios they could have used to get to that point, but it was the one they used was just extreme, and it was they didn't do for such an extreme scenario they used. And I know I'm using the word extreme a lot, but like you'd think it'd have longer consequences, and that's because they didn't have the intention of having it have longer consequences. They just wanted to do a specific side plot and get to that specific side plot.
Yeah, and that's not the only time where they do that in the show. There are so many plot threads that are there just because the writers wanted them to be there. They have no purpose in the story, no effect.
Can you give another example?
Well, one moment to check my list. I have something that says Albanian credit card fraud, which from what I remember, that was just a side of gig where I don't remember who got scammed, but they got scammed and there was no consequence, there was no follow up to that.
So what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
There was a subplot about some Albanians doing credit card fraud and...
Oh yeah.
From what I remember, this was another plot that went nowhere.
Of course, you remember the Albanians. Greece Steven moment.
Slander.
Greek man sees Albanian in TV show, seethes eternally about it. You're like
slander. This is slander.
You're like a Daily Wire viewer when they see a gay person in a movie. It's now woke. Women in TV show. Oh, you made it political.
You know, I don't have a comment.
I'm right, and you know I'm right.
No, the thing is that I can say that I have Albanian friends, but that just sounds even worse. It is the stock excuse.
They're the marginalized group. First it was Black Lives Matter, then it was Stop Asian Hate. Now it's Albanian Lives Matter. That's a lie. They don't.
To be fair, the newly bright host for the podcast is Albanian.
Yeah, and he has a potato mic.
Yeah, because they're just as poor as we are.
Yeah, but at least you guys accept that you're poor and don't try to enter everyone else's countries.
Ooh, I mean, well, you clearly have not seen Greek diaspora.
I don't see Greeks in my day-to-day life and on my border, so...
Yeah, because
I think that just means
Greek would want to go to a shithole like fucking Scotland or England in general. Nobody from here wants to go to a country where it rains 300 days a year.
Okay.
That's fucking insane.
Okay, I'm sorry, but you can't. You live in Greece. You can't call here a shithole. I'm allowed to call here a shithole, and I'm allowed to call your country a shithole, but you can't call mine a shithole. Where's your money?
My bank account.
Yeah, how much? Where is it?
Where is it?
Yeah, where is it?
I am not going to disclose that on the podcast.
Opens up his bank account. €0. Oh wait, no, you got your €10 from selling your soul. Richest man in Greece. No money.
More than you.
No. I have £40 in my bank account right now.
I have more.
You have 10 because you sold your soul. I'm also unemployed. And I'm 17.
Well, get the job.
I'm trying. I tried selling my soul I tried selling my soul and applying for Games Workshop, and they rejected me because I wasn't old enough.
Ageism.
Yes, I literally am like the perfect.
Those damn companies and they text notes not allowing child labor.
No, apparently it was. Apparently it's because there's somehow Games Workshop sell products you have to be 18 to sell. Oh yeah, because they sell plastic crack. They can't have people selling
plastic
that.
What?
Plastic crack.
Crack.
To be fair, they probably also do have like Slaanesh models and stuff.
True.
I don't know.
Are you aware, Andrew, that there are Slaanesh candles that exist?
Slaanesh. Wait, what does the candle do?
I don't know what it smells like, but it's like Slaanesh.
Oh, it's like a perfumed Slaanesh candle?
Yeah, they do candles.
Is that Gwyneth Paltrow vagina candle?
So they do candles based on like loads of factions. Only reason I found out about this is because in Tokyo they opened a Warhammer cafe and you can buy them there.
Oh, okay, well, I suppose that's gonna be on my shopping list now.
I saw a video about that Warhammer cafe in Tokyo. Looks cool. Apparently they're trying to push into the Japanese market more. However, I would not go for one reason. All the flavored drinks are coffee, and I don't drink. Like all the drinks they have, like based on Warhammer stuff, they're all like coffee.
That's weird. Why would they not have stuff that isn't coffee?
I don't know. It's all coffee. It's like frappuccinos and shit like that. It's like different types of coffee. And it's like, why? I literally I literally refuse to drink coffee because it's just caffeine, really.
I mean, I also don't drink coffee, but for other reasons.
You know, straight edge and all. But,
no.
Not you, me. You,
Oh.
I know you like drinking. You've messaged me drunk before. But yeah, no. I don't know why they don't have other options besides fucking coffee. But looks neat. I think it's Dark Angels themed. I know there's one that's Imperial Fist themed in America, and another one that's Blood Angels, I think. But I would be interested to know what a Slanesh candle smells like.
Yeah, I'm wondering as well. That's
if I had to guess, it probably smells like semen.
I mean, among many things.
Does lady juice smell? I don't know. Never had the experience of knowing.
I mean, I would assume so.
Well, have you never made a woman, you know what?
Oh, wait, are you talking about, like, squirt?
Yeah.
Oh. You know.
I would not know. Homie, do you have any idea?
No comment.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I got close, and then that sounds so shit on my part. I'm not telling that story. I'm not telling that story on this show. That story's still a point of embarrassment for me, so I'm not telling it.
So, I guess that's the end of that conversation.
Yeah, I now feel shit for remembering that. Great.
You just gave yourself PTSD. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You played yourself.
I guess now's time to advertise our testosterone pills while we have the time. Yeah, so homie, we've got
push the dick pills.
Yeah, no, so I have this like idea for a business, right? So it's you order the pills from us, but we make
the Sigma music behind this.
But there's two different pills that we sell. One's estrogen and one's testosterone, but they look the exact same and it's randomized. So what pills you're taking, you don't know, and it's a lottery. I call it No Society's Hormone Lottery. It's genius. Like, come on, who doesn't want to potentially...
It sounds like a lose-lose situation.
What, are you saying you don't want more testosterone?
I don't want the ball cancer and heart attacks that come with testosterone pills.
I don't mind having a heart attack.
Or the ball shrinking, because that also happens if you take testosterone.
Does it?
Yeah. Because your body stops producing testosterone, so you're not shrink.
Yeah, but if you just keep taking the pills yourself, they don't shrink.
They will shrink.
I'm very curious.
Because you're just taking it from an outside source.
I'm very curious how big Billy Gunn's balls are now. Because he got fired from WWE for having 4 times the legal testosterone in his system.
They have probably fallen off. They just shriveled up. and dust it away.
I'm very curious. What is... Like, everyone wants to know how big Batista's dick is, but the real question on our mind should be, does Billy Gunn have its balls? Because...
He has that much testosterone, I highly doubt it.
I'd like to point out he was like in his 60s as well when this happened.
Yeah, I think the odds are not in his favor on this one.
Yeah, like WWE he was like a trainer there, and just WWE find out of nowhere that he has 4 times the legal amount of testosterone in the system, and he's also training for bodybuilding apparently.
At 60?
Yeah, I think he's in his 60s. I want to say he is.
Now?
Now? Let me check now. Now he's actually having a career revival in AEW, and it's actually doing really well for himself. Now he gets called, I think, Daddy Ass over there, because he was like the ass man for a while. Yeah, there he is.
Because he's bolstered to us.
He is 59. No, so he
Good for him. I'm surprised how he's still going.
Yeah, so when he was like in WWE, he got called the Ass Man. Like, that was his name. And then he's with this team called the Acclaimed in AEW, and they jokingly call him Daddy Ass. And they have this gimmick where, like, they have the new hand gesture where they take their fingers and like the V's or peace, and they like the two of them put their like fingers together in like a lesbian scissor motion. So they now have the catchphrase, "Scissor me, daddy ass." And somehow this is really over. Like this, they were like the most popular team on the show for ages. I watched one of the shows live, and it had like a live chat, and anytime like they were on, like the comments on this live chat were just filled with scissor emojis and people putting "scissor me daddy ass" in it. And like, how that got over, I don't know, but it's funny, so I don't care. It's dumb fun. Though explaining wrestling to someone who has not seen wrestling in a long time is difficult because it's retarded. Like I'm assuming I'm assuming neither of you have watched wrestling in like 20 years or something.
Yeah, that's pretty much accurate.
It was 4 or 5 years ago, like back in 2015, 16, somewhere around that era.
Oh, right.
But here's the thing with Greece. They would not show the plot lines. It would just be the WWE matches, and probably around like 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh.
So I would miss most of the match. So I had no idea of the plot lines. I would just see people beating the shit out of each other.
Now, the other question is, I'm assuming it was WWE you both watched.
Yes.
Yes.
You're both.
It was F at the time that I started.
Oh, right,
yeah.
You're both fucking cringe. I hope you know that.
There was no other option on Greek TV.
The real stuff is in Japan. That's where the good stuff is, guys.
Actually, when I was in high school, I was watching documentaries about Japanese female pro wrestling. So,
Stardom by any chance? I don't know if they.
No, Gaia Girls actually.
Not familiar with them. When did Stardom start?
I don't know. Like, I mean, granted, Japanese female pro wrestling has been going on since like the early '80s. For a while.
I was well off. Stardom was founded in 2010. I don't watch it, but like I'm aware that in Japan that's the biggest female only promotion. And that one's had some rough days. There was one time one of the women beat the other one up for real, full on, for minutes upon minutes. They don't like talking about that. It's
yeah, no shit.
It's not good. It's actually really sad if you look into it. But the real stuff, New Japan. Oh, it's good. Like, if either of you are ever interested in checking out wrestling again, New Japan's where it's at. Or, like, AEW's not bad. It's not bad. It was like white hot when CM Punk came back till Hangman beat Kenny Omega. That period of time, it was white fucking hot. Though,
big question about Japanese wrestling.
Yeah.
Do they speak English?
Yes and no. From like, I think it was like 2015 onwards, they have the option of English commentary. If you're watching anything before that, no. But the Japanese wrestlers will speak in Japanese, and the commentary team tend to translate it. But a lot of gaijin, they're called, foreign wrestlers. Andrew can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure gaijin means foreigner in Japanese.
Yeah.
So that's
some people consider it offensive, but you know,
that's what they tend to get called in Japan. Is wrestlers who are not Japanese tend to get called gaijin. Those, depending on who it is, they will either speak English or Japanese. Depends if they can speak Japanese. For example, Kenny Omega, when he was full time in New Japan, would do his promos in English, even though he could speak Japanese because he was a bad guy, and the point was that he was he was being a dick, so he intentionally would only speak in English because he knew the Japanese audience wouldn't be able to speak it as well. And then he took it to a next step when he was wrestling Will Ospreay at the start of the year, when they had a promo with each other, because Will Ospreay cannot speak a word of Japanese. So Kenny did the entire promo in Japanese and had his manager Don Callis translate it back to Will. That is Kino. But
that's a pretty delightful heel move right there.
It is. That was really funny. But like Jay White, who's now at AEW, he would do his promos in English because he only speaks English. Prince Devitt, and that was like 10 years ago, would do his promos in English because he doesn't speak Japanese. So a lot of the gaijin wrestlers will do their promos in English, while the Japanese ones do it in Japanese with translation.
Because that's something that annoys me with most stuff, is that I really don't like subtitles.
Oh, they don't even do subtitles. The only time you will ever see subtitles in New Japan is if there's a big match. There will tend to be these like video packages ahead of the match that should tell you what you need to know about the storyline going in, and those tend to get subtitles. Not always, sometimes they do, but those tend to just give you a baseline understanding of what you're watching. So for example, the most acclaimed series of matches in Japanese wrestling history, I'd say, is Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada. They have 4 matches together, and the video package for the first match, hey homie, that stag lasted a wee while, but yeah, so like for the video package for the first match, for example, the storyline going into the first match was that Okada was the how would you put it? He was the guy the top brass liked. He was, if I had to compare Okada to anyone, I'd say he's the John Cena of New Japan if John Cena had good matches. That's how I would describe him. He is the top guy, he is the top babyface. They tend to get called the ace of New Japan, because before him it was Hiroshi Tanahashi, who was absolute dimes, might I add. And Okada's dimes as well, to be fair.
I think I've heard of him.
Who, Hiroshi Tanahashi?
Yeah, probably through you.
Probably. Yeah, he was dimes, though there are people online who say how much they want to put conditioner in his hair, which is kind of funny. I'll get you a picture of him. But yeah, so the story going in was that Okada was he was the guy that the top brass liked, while Omega was the guy who was getting over with the crowd by himself and wasn't their number 1 pick, but he was that good, he was doing it himself. That's the story going into the match. That's all you really needed to know, and that's what the video package really reflects. Alright, I've got a picture of Hiroshi Tanahashi for you. He's wearing an Antonio Inoki suit in this photo. This is Hiroshi Tanahashi. So that's a comment I've seen a few times people have made. Where
his hair looks good. Doesn't need conditioner.
Oh, his hair is glorious. I wish I had hair like Hiroshi Tanahashi.
That's some solid hair, man.
By the way, this is the hair length that I have right now. It's about that length. I'm gonna have to shave it off because fuck Greek military.
I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah,
But
I really appreciate that the moment of silence.
I used to have long
And
hair.
the thing is that I also had to cut like last year. Last year it was down to my shoulders, then a bit more down actually.
Stop it picking up. Okay, my mic is picking up then.
Yes, we couldn't hear it for a bit.
Yeah.
And last year I had to cut again. I started growing it out and I got my note for my mandatory military enlisting.
I've now got to turn my mic down because everyone in my house is fucking shouting. Brilliant. There. Yeah, so you're saying...
Relatable. Extremely relatable.
So you're saying you don't have Hiroshi Tanahashi hair?
Right now I do. Next month I won't.
I wish I... Like, my hair is getting pretty long, but it's nowhere near as good as this man. That is some peak hair.
Here's the thing. His hair points out. My hair points in. It's the annoying part.
Mine kind of...
So right now I have two strands going straight in my nostrils.
You know, mine's kind of points out. So I'll give him that. Like, if I had to take a guess, I'd say mine's is probably closer to his than yours is. Not to jerk myself off or anything, but it's still nowhere near as good as this guy's. Yeah, his hair's certainly better than Okada's. Okada's hair is a little, it's just like, it's just bleached blonde, and it looks kind of dumb. I won't lie. Let me get this up. Oh, that is a pixelated photo. Japanese people still not understanding how to do resolution. All these photos are really low quality for some reason. There. This is Okada. And to be fair, Dime's jacket. There was also that one time he came in with a huge sword.
And yeah, that's shitty hair.
Yeah, but he did come in with a huge anime sword one time.
That's solid, you know.
One sec, let me get this up for you.
Also, my other very hot take.
Look at this.
I do not watch anime. I hate the plot lines. I hate the animation style.
You're missing out, man.
Wait, what? Like all anime? Are you... I'm sorry, are you picking a fight here?
You know what? I kind of am picking a fight.
Okay.
Because I don't like the art style.
Okay, I'll put it this way, homie. If you don't like how anime tells its stories, you won't like Japanese wrestling. I'll put it that way. I would describe it as live action anime. Like a lot of them
do fights take several like hours and several like different matches?
You're probably watching the wrong anime, dude.
Okada Omega 4 was...
I mean, I have a friend that told me like in Naruto there are like 3 episodes on a single fight over the span of like 2 minutes, and it's just flashbacks.
I'll point out, homie, Okada Omega 4 was like 1 hour 10 minutes, which that's long for wrestling standards.
Yeah, no, my zoomer brain cannot focus for that long.
Their best match was number 2, which was exactly 1 hour if you're not including entrances. All the New Japan main events are long, and they're better that way. Like, look, here's the thing, right? I would rather watch a 1 hour main event than a 20-minute main event, because that 1 hour really makes it feel like a grand fight. Like that's what I always found really unsatisfying about WWE, is that like they will build up for months, like, oh, it's Triple H versus Randy Orton or something, and these guys will fight for 20 minutes and that's it. Well, then you have Okada fight Shibata or something, and they will fight for like a good hour, and it really feels like a all-out war between the two guys, and it's so much better that way. So also, if you do have Zoomer brain, you may struggle to watch New Japan, because a lot of it's a slow burn because Japanese. For some reason, like I don't know how, but Japanese media is like all of it's like really over the top,
And we lost you again.
Hopefully you should come back in a moment.
Alright, that's my mic working, I think. Someone speak?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, it's the headset, not the mic, I mean. But no, what I was saying was that Japanese media is somehow ridiculously over the top and silly, and also a slow burn at the same time, which is impressive.
And that's probably the reason why I also don't like anime. A lot of the tropes feel very like childish, same with the writing at a lot of points.
Would you care to elaborate?
Like my friends have tried to like recommend anime, they forced me to watch a couple episodes of Dragon Ball, and I feel
Dude,
nothing.
what? Okay, no.
Watch
Look,
Death Note.
all right. Wait, what'd you say?
Watch Death Note.
You might still find Death
I
Note.
have had my
Death Note
friends
is silly.
explain
Death
the
Note,
entire
Death
plot of
Note
Death
is
Note.
silly. It's still like deep into the anime thing. You need to watch Cowboy Bebop, and you need to watch the films of Satoshi Kon, because they are just straight up Kino. They're Kino that is animated. Like, they don't feel like anime. They feel like good TV and good movies.
Yeah, but to be fair, Death Note is one I've seen people who don't like anime get into. Like, I have friends who really like Death Note who don't like anime. I think it's one where like the anime silliness it's there, but like there's still enough there that people who don't care for anime silliness can still get past it.
Okay, you know, if Homie comes back, it says all according to plan, you motherfucker, then you'll know that you.
Yeah. It's one I think where people can get past the anime silliness if that's not their thing. But at the same time,
Maybe for the next episode, I go watch through those anime movies that you recommend, and I come back with my opinion on those.
Yeah, I would say Cowboy Bebop though. Like, I have never met somebody
good.
that thought Cowboy Bebop was bad.
That is a good one. I want to say Akira, but I know at the same time it's got loads of anime silliness in it.
No. Actually, Akira, I don't think or the dubbing is, you know.
The dubbing is trash.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, as a movie, it's solid, dude.
It's one of my favorite movies, but it's just the concept is like a lot of the imagery and concept is a bit out there. Where like
yeah, and it influenced a lot of later anime, so it is sort of like a trope setter.
Yeah.
But no, Cowboy Bebop. I think the council agrees that Cowboy Bebop is a safe choice.
I've experienced people who don't like anime for seeing Akira firsthand, because I saw it in a cinema with my dad, and his reaction was basically, "Yeah, that looked really nice. I have no clue what happened though." It was good. It was alright. It was alright.
Before we move from this topic, I do want to say that the early 90s and 2000s anime aesthetic was pretty good, that animation style. Now, what has become with its community, I don't really like that. So I like the older anime animation style.
I don't watch too much things that are anime at this point. Like, I've not seen too much anime recently. I've kind of just fallen off what's been watched now. Like, I don't watch shows in general. I watch New Japan, and that's it. Like, I just don't watch much anymore. And you know what? I feel better for it, which might be like a hot take. Like, yeah, people should stop watching like TV and shows. I think it does no one any good. I don't know if the two of you might go, no, but I need to see my anime or for Homie his CW shows, but like, they're just like. There's a term I want to use, but I know but I know we get demonetized the moment not demonetized. You're probably just banned the moment I say it, so I'm gonna cut the first part out the term. Most like TV in general tends to be just slop, and like, yeah, I don't bother. Read a book. Read a book. That's my take. Read a book, listen to an album, don't watch TV.
And if you read the book, I have a recommendation because I read All Tomorrows recently and it was a pretty good book.
I've been reading The Infinite and Divine, and that's been really good. Though, if you don't know your Warhammer, don't read The Infinite and the Divine. You need to know your shit to read that book. It's very good. It's very funny. But yeah, read a book. Don't watch TV. Oh, and definitely don't watch TikToks. Those things,
Yeah,
I know you like
that is brain rot. I do feel like a boomer saying that, but it is actually brain rot.
Yeah, but homie, don't you watch YouTube Shorts?
Not to that extent.
Still seems a tad hypocritical because they are the same thing, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the one difference is, you know, the whole thing of like, you do realize that there's certain evidence that like the Chinese government does try to use TikTok to influence.
Oh yeah.
It's like a cultural attack on other nations.
Yeah, it's quite clearly true. Yeah, because if you look at the Chinese equivalent of TikTok compared to what we get in the West, they're two very different sites.
Yeah,
because
in China it's like an educational platform.
Yeah, it's like stay in school, get married, have family, good
worship Xi Jinping.
Worship Xi Jinping, good old values, and in the West it's like, sell your body for money. Yeah, I was about to say something very racist there. I'm not even going to try go further into a rant there. I nearly said something really bad there. Homie, take us off onto a different subject quickly.
Next subject, okay. Back to the Sopranos list. I have a note that says Tony cares about animals, not people. Parentheses, based.
Yeah.
And I do feel we all agree on that. Animals are better than humans. Dogs especially.
No, fuck dogs.
You fuck dogs?
No, I said I hate them. I don't respect them.
I feel like that was a Freudian slip. Are you sure you haven't had thoughts?
I've not had thoughts.
You do have a monkey as a profile picture, so
that
might implicate you into being a fairy.
I do not have thoughts of having sex with dogs.
Have you seen that Shane Dawson tweet about his cat?
Yeah, I'm aware of what Shane Dawson does with his cat.
I do not fuck cats. I do not have sex with my cat. I did not come or put my dick anywhere near my cat.
Yeah. No, I do not have sex with dogs. Even though if at times women may have the intelligence of dogs. I don't have sex with dogs. But I don't respect dogs. To be clear, I don't respect them. So, basically, if I'm talking about like domesticated dogs, like the ones who can't, like if I threw it out in the wild, it wouldn't be able to survive on its own. I don't respect that. If something can't survive by itself and it needs some being higher than now to feed it and all that to survive, I don't respect it. And
you clearly have not seen Stray Dogs.
I'm not saying it's all dogs, but Yeah, if it's one that can't survive by itself, I don't respect it. But stray dogs do exist, and I'm aware stray dogs exist. I don't respect a lot of dogs. And I'm aware that's like a hot take in the West because,
I mean, by that own logic, if we plucked you in a forest, would you be able to survive?
Probably.
And if so, for how long?
Probably longer than you could.
I highly doubt that. I've watched multiple survival videos,
Watches Bear
which
Grylls.
basically makes me survival expert at this point.
Watch,
I am essentially Bear Grylls.
Watches Bear Grylls once. I'm a survival expert now. When you get back from your military training, that can be a spin-off show. You have crews film from afar, us trying to survive in the wild and see who can last longer.
I would be down for that.
Yeah, let's do that.
And me after the military, I would be having the time of my life because the ground's probably way better than the bed-bug-ridden beds that they have in the military.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And that's a feature, not a bug in the military. Like, every single bed has bed bugs.
Yeah, that sounds awful. Once again, I every night I pray to God and tell him thank you for not making me Greek.
For fuck's sake, dude.
What? He has to do mandatory military service. I don't.
That is fair. I mean, not about the Greek thing, but the mandatory service does suck.
I mean, to be fair, if I was Greek, I wouldn't have to do military service anyway. But I'll take not being.
Oh, you would have. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
They can't put epileptic people in the military, so I would have gotten away with it.
I mean, they might put in the military, but without a gun.
Oh no!
Because we also have that. We call those I-Force.
No, homie, when my dad was my age, he tried signing up for the military and they rejected him due to having epilepsy. Like even for other roles, like they won't let someone sign up. They're not going to draft someone if they're refusing to let them sign up. So yeah, I think I'll be fine.
Yeah, but you're forgetting that in Greece, mandatory military is basically slave labor. So they won't give you a gun, and they will probably get you to just clean toilets all day.
And once again, glad I'm not Greek.
And I'm glad that I'll probably have a gun, and I will be carrying crates for about a year instead of cleaning toilets.
And I have to do neither. And my asshole is intact. So yeah, I wouldn't say I lucked out because I'm still Scottish. Being Scottish is not a win, but I think Ander probably got the biggest win out of the three of us. When it came to
Being in Japan?
Being in an economically developed country.
America,
I mean,
Japan is a win over us.
To be fair, like yeah. Okay, I'll just thank you. I appreciate it. Granted, I worry that the United States is in a pretty bad place socially, politically.
I'll point out just that the ex-First Minister's First Minister, basically Prime Minister in Scotland, her husband, who's also part of the main political party, was arrested a few days ago for embezzlement of money.
Okay, so you're in the same. Yeah, I guess it's
level as Greece. Yeah.
And she resigned like 2 months ago, something like that. Maybe a month ago. It wasn't that long ago anyway. And it's pretty clear now that she left because the embezzlement was going to come out. And they're also vastly underestimating how much she embezzled. They're saying it was, I think, 600,000 is how much they're charging. They're looking at charging them for. If you look,
have you seen our politician Kyle that stole about 2 million from the European Union?
They're charging them for 600,000. If you look further into it, It's closer to about 2 billion. So,
Fuck's sake.
yeah, so they were given 7 billion for COVID relief, and 2 billion of that is missing. We know how to spend 7, but we know how to spend 5 billion. Where's the rest? Alright, I'll pull up the case about it. So his name is Peter Murrell. That's a 2-day-old article, I don't want that. Scottish politics? That might be... oh, great. SNP auditors quit amid Peter Murrell police investigation. Great, so the firm that audits the main party's finances has just resigned. I wonder
That's not
why.
good.
No.
So I also checked on Eva Kaili. She stole 750,000 in cash from the European Union.
Based.
But I will show you evidence he's innocent right here, right now. Here's the evidence. She's clearly innocent.
Yeah. Yeah.
That does remind me of
She facially
do you guys ever watch Onion News?
No.
I have
Okay.
read some of the articles.
I'm already articles. I just didn't
Talking
read
about the
I didn't
Onion.
watch. Yeah, Homie, do you remember Maggie from The Walking Dead? She facially looks
Yeah.
like her.
She does. That's exactly what I thought when I saw her in the news.
Anyway, continue on, Andrew.
Oh no, there was one specific video they had that seemed sort of appropriate to what Homie was just saying.
Jesus.
But again, to all our viewers at home, the Onion News has one of their parody videos being about a white girl getting tried as a black adult. Of course, to parody that black adults generally optically don't do as well in the courts as like pretty young white people.
And
Anyway.
there tends to be more of them as well.
What'd you say?
No comment.
No comment.
I don't need to say anything worse than I nearly said.
Okay.
Homie's seen the DM for me. He knows what I nearly said. I'm just gonna no comment right past this, but yeah, I think that woman's innocent. Peter Murrell looks like a pedophile. To be clear, for legal reasons, I'm not saying he is one. He just looks like one. I'll get you a photo of this man. He Alright, here you go. And to be clear, the one on the left is a woman. That is a woman on the left, to be clear. He's the one on the right.
He looks like a less turtle version of Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, he looks like he likes kids. And also, yes,
But
the one on the left is I have to specify, the one on the left is a woman. Allegedly. They claim to be a woman.
She does look like a woman.
She looks kind of.
Yeah.
She looks pretty masculine.
She might be a lizard person, but don't think there is doubt that she's a woman.
yeah, I'm gonna.
Maybe I just like making fun of her because she's awful and a terrible person, but average Scottish women. just bury my entire ethnicity just because. Why not?
I mean, I saw a meme recently that was like a taste of their food and a good look at their women made British men the best sailors.
Yeah.
But that's clearly false because Greece has the best navy. Well, we used to be the #1 navy in the world, but China overtook us last year.
Well,
Now China is #1 in just about every major industry.
Yeah.
China #1.
China #1. Xi Jinping, please spare me in the coming genocide.
I'll tell you something they're not #1 in. Human rights abuses. There's a few countries I think still beat them.
See, I was expecting you to go for pro wrestling, but that's also a legitimate choice. Won't
I think Kim Jong Un's still a bit ahead. America's pretty bad as well, and the West. You know what? The West is subtly really bad for it.
I feel like America has more human rights violations, but they're smarter about it.
Probably, they're less. They're more subtly evil.
Yeah, like who actually talks about Guantanamo Bay these days?
You last episode.
Yeah, I know. Me, but I mean, who else talks about Guantanamo Bay?
Me, because you said it.
Okay, yeah.
Since last episode, I've mentioned it.
To be fair, nobody else comes to mind.
So we should change the podcast name to No Guantanamo Bay Society. Because apparently we're the only men talking about it.
Yeah, right.
Add that in the video tags. So if somebody read Guantanamo Bay, this video pops up.
I might do that, yeah. And then I get put on a government watch list. I get sent to Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, you're not gonna get sent to Guantanamo Bay, friend.
Aww.
McAfee's probably in Guantanamo Bay.
I mean,
that's where they sent David Bowie because he's alive.
I'm not sure about
honestly,
David Bowie lore, but I highly doubt that McAfee is dead.
He's alive. I'm telling you.
Oh, you think so?
David Bowie, yeah, he's alive. Yeah, after he died, his manager went on Sky News to do an interview about it. His manager, who happens to look exactly like him and sound exactly like him, called Jack Stevens, and also David Bowie didn't have a manager during his last 2 albums. He was self-managed. So who the fuck is Jack Stevens? Would also like to add, David Bowie did have a character during his album Diamond Dogs called Halloween Jack. A little weird. There's a few major coincidences there. It's a very hard one to explain. And I mean, if anyone would have faked their death, it's David Bowie. The man faked retirement multiple times in character. So like during the Ziggy Stardust tour, he said he was retiring, but he didn't. He was retiring as the character of Ziggy Stardust. Like the idea that he would fake his death is not that far out there. The man's had a pretty wild life, to say the least. So he's probably alive. McAfee is dead, though. I was gonna say that, homie. McAfee's dead. I wish he wasn't. He was the funny-based man, but he's dead.
You believe he got suicide? Because I doubt he actually killed himself if he's dead.
I'm 50-50 on it. McAfee was a huge troll, So the idea that he would tell everyone, yeah, if I kill myself, I was murdered, and then kills himself. That is something McAfee would do. Well,
It sort of is, yeah.
It's totally on character for him to do that. But if he did, I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it. I do like McAfee though. I think he's funny. If I was living in that area of Belize that he built a compound on, I probably wouldn't like him. But as a white man living in Scotland who is very far away from Belize, I can laugh at his shenanigans and go, ah, he's the funny-based man. He actually wrote a book about spirituality I want to read.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he wrote a few books. They seem like interesting things to read. It's a shame he did not write an autobiography. Like that would be like, imagine a John McAfee wrote autobiography. Think about how wild that would be.
Yeah, it probably would be pretty balls to the wall.
I still stand by the fact I want a Vince McMahon autobiography. He is the most interesting.
That would be top content.
That would be insane. He's a crazy person. Like, he's still ripped at like 70 because he sleeps 4 hours a day. He spends all the rest of his time either working out or working. He's crazy. I desperately want a Vince McMahon wrote autobiography about his life. It would be the most fucking wild thing and it would be even better if he admitted to every terrible thing he's done. Like, he just writes a whole chapter about how he covered up the fact that Jimmy Snuka murdered his girlfriend. Like, just imagine if he just, like, it was like a confession letter of a book. Think about how wild that would be. I am a... If I get like a genie in the ball thing, that's probably one of my free wishes. No clue what my other two
That
are.
would be a good idea for another episode of the podcast. Just what you would wish for, and have the other host try and fuck that wish up as much as possible.
Well,
Just
Oh, that actually would be
to
pretty
see.
good.
I'll sell you that idea to PCM for your €10.
No, I think it fits more this podcast because in PCM, actually, yeah, it could fit PCM actually. Just see what its political ideology would choose.
Well, I can't give you your soul back, but I can sell you this pretty good idea for an episode for €10.
I'm not taking that deal
Oh, that's a shame.
because then I would have no money.
Exactly.
I would just become the average Greek.
Yeah, but you have your olive oil. That's all that matters. You gotta have the olive oil. See, you're not thinking about the big picture. If you bring gallons upon gallons of olive oil,
But olive oil is everywhere. I turn on the water faucet and olive oil pours out.
Yeah, but Owen, if you bring gallons upon gallons of it to the UK, think how much you can sell it for, because it costs more over here. Think about it.
Indeed, but I do like looking at the $10 bill.
You mean euro?
Yes, euro.
I actually have so in my wallet, right? I just have tons and tons of coins, and I noticed that there was one coin that shouldn't be there. I have no clue what this is for. I have a Slavic coin in here. I've never been to a Slavic country. Alright, it's 5ZL with a line through it, OTYCH. Zoich?
Yeah, no clue.
2009. Yeah. Oh, I think it's Polish. It says Polska on it.
That would be Polish, to my understanding, yeah.
Now here's the thing. I've never been to Poland. none of my family has been to Poland. Why do I have a 5 Polish coin in my wallet?
A fine question indeed.
Like, I know there's a lot of Polish immigrants
Mm,
in
I
Scotland.
also have dollars and pounds
How the
in my wallet
yeah, but like those
without
are,
ever being there.
yeah, but that's the thing. Those are like more universal. Like those are more common currencies. Who the fuck is going around Scotland with the Polish currency? And how the fuck did I end up with it?
Yeah, I don't have a good answer for you.
But Andrew, you're the man with all the answers.
You know, the one thing I can say is that, were you aware that the
Guantanamo Bay's bad.
Poles
Yeah, I know.
are considered the honorary Negroes of Europe by the Haitian people?
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Haiti rebelled, there were a whole bunch of Polish mercenaries in the area who helped with the rebellion, and so the Haitian government, when they instituted their own system of racial segregation, were like, y'all Poles are cool, so you're black.
I mean, I've said similar things about Scotland. Just I said that I think I said we're the Balkans of Western Europe. Which,
You know,
You are nowhere near the Balkans.
no, I didn't say we're near. I said that we've got the corruption and we're near the economy of the Balkans.
Yes, you're nowhere near the corruption or economy of the Balkans.
I'd like to point out that our government is completely corrupt. Like one of them has been arrested now. We're pretty fucking corrupt.
Name one government that isn't corrupt. North Korea
Korea.
isn't an option.
North Korea.
I got that in faster.
How are the Danes doing? I thought the
Leave-
Danish government was pretty good.
Lieberland. Lieberland isn't corrupt.
Liberland. to be fair, no, Liberland is a shitcoin at the end of the day.
Lieberland.
It's corrupt to the core.
Yeah. A liberate society is inherently corrupt. Not Lieberland isn't corrupt. What else is there? There's that one bit in Australia that's like one farm, but they got independence and are considered a country. They're not corrupt. Who else is not corrupt? China.
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 Okay.
Yeah. You know, Centro says there's no corruption there. The Chinese media says no corruption there. There can't be corruption there. Why would they lie?
How would they lie, indeed?
Yeah. Oh, that's a notification on my phone. My social credit score just went up. Have your social credit scores
Mine
gone
too.
up today?
The what?
I'm grinding that social credit score. See,
Hell yeah, brother.
I ain't playing.
That dropped it.
I ain't playing
That
video
doesn't
games
drop
anymore.
me.
I'm playing the game of life. My social credit score, it's gonna be about. I'm getting inheritor rank in the social credit score.
I don't know what that means.
It was like one of the top ranks in Halo. I think it was Halo Reach. Oh, was it Halo 3? I can't remember. I forgot. Greece doesn't have Xbox.
Yeah, they're like 1 in 100 people has an Xbox, and they get bullied relentlessly until they buy a PlayStation.
If I was that kid, I would literally just have said Halo. Perfect response.
Yeah, but nobody knows what Halo is. That's the thing. That's the beauty
You're
of
lost.
it.
You're lost.
It's just blind discrimination against the people who use the mostly white consoles instead of the slick black one.
Are you saying that the PlayStation is the BBC of?
Yes. It's bigger and better.
Well, there you go. Always express his opinion on African American penises. It's bigger and better. thank you for that opinion, homie.
Just to defend myself, I do have to say that I'm sleep deprived to all hell.
I think we're
It's almost 2 a.m. here and I've been up since 11.
we're now the homosexuality podcast, or
I mean, there is a reason for my name.
or we're now the coal burning podcast. Oh, that's
the what burden? The what'd you say?
Are you not familiar with the term coal burning?
No.
It's a term that gets used a bit on pole. It already tells you where we're going. It tends to get used for white women who like black men in a sexual way.
Coal burning.
I think you know where the connotation of coal is going.
Yeah, but just like I'd never heard this one before. That's interesting.
How often do you use pole?
Never.
That tells you everything.
Yeah.
You hear it on there a fair bit. Anyway, we're coming up to 3 hours and 4 minutes, so I think we should wrap up. So, I guess, homie, do you have anything to show? Thank you. Now,
it's my podcast.
Yeah, well,
PCM podcast.
We'll have a link in the description for that. I'll try and make sure not to link the PMC podcast. I won't ask Breadmaker or Tax to make the link for me. But this has been the No Society. Andrew, give us an outro.
Thank you for tuning in today for another day of rambling and talking about The Sopranos, as well as the effect that technology will have on ruining the future for us and our children. We hope you enjoyed it. We look forward to having you another time. Take care, and this has been the No Society Society. Have a good week.